see what I'm saying? You wearing an $80,000 chain, it's real thugs in the hood. They get you for that. Easy. And back in the day, the thugs would rob you and be in the club with you like, what up, son? They wouldn't even run. You see what I'm saying? Try getting this back, son. Yo, how does it look on me, son? Because real gangsters do real things. So for all you young MCs out there, understand the words come out your mouth are vessels of thought, and they have magnetic power to them. So every single word that comes out of your mouth is, I'm a gangster, I'm a thug, come test me, 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 come test me. And you drawing it back to you, and real gangsters will come test you. And you don't want that. You see what I'm saying? So you got to be careful of what comes out of your mouth.
Yo, Midnight. Yo, we got him, yo. We got him. Yo, we got him. Yeah, man. Just pull the rope on the guillotine, Midnight. Let's take it right now, man. Do it up right now. Council with etheric elders in the waters of noon. Reclined on the sun with my foot on the moon. Watching goddess on earth act like witches on brooms. Sipping milk and the honeydew and triple black boom. Touchdown, not subordinate but God sent. I'm the red and blue of Superman and Clark Kent. From beyond the sun to earth, Moabite marksman. Tongue double-edged scimitar, stay sharpened. Flag in the earth first, set up the post. Sea is the land, now the flag's in the boat. Back on the land, follow tears, the trail never ends. Albion Inquisitionists murdered my friends. Stole our culture, sell it to us as trends. Negro, blacks, and colors, stay out the culture blend. Touch your hair, tell you the style they liking. But jack your energy, hair on the neck, back spiking. Off the heat of the devil, walking rebel. Why run when police come? Swinging his billy club, drunk off Seagrams. Invisible candle magic, suspect they see none. Pull torch, have them arrested for treason and under. I want bar numbers, put a lien on a straw man that's breaching his oath. Call Orishas, tell all the coon, go for his throat. Pickaxe, a cow tongue on parchment paper. Sprinkle clothes, put a hex on the MC, drought your flows. Take the water from your throat like doctors draining knees. Cause they use ankle weights, bones soft like cheese. Farts stink, niggas eating things, that's deceased. More rotten than the plan, the clan's plotting on me. Why? Knowledge as the money has me a millionaire. Giving knowledge away like I don't care. Christians tell me find Jesus before judgment comes. He's on the corner selling crack and killing his sons. Zombie brainwashed blacks are still blaming the guns. Point out Catholic priests, man. I'm blaming the nuns who killed Tate and Toba Chung. I'm blaming the streets who killed Prophet Drew Ali. I'm blaming a breach. Same for General Khalid and El Haj Malik. Or killed cause nationality was in their speech. Things to make you go and thought to art. Happy-go-lucky rappers fall past naught in infinite debts. Might as well hold your breath and let's see how far this rabbit hole goes to the left. I broke out the chamber, Allah's come in danger. I self-law, a master coming with my angels. Iron Sheik, immaculate without the manger. Alpha Hexen, rap boule strangers. Broke out the chamber, Allah's come in danger. I self-law, a master coming with my angels. Iron Sheik, immaculate without the manger. Alpha Hexen, rap boule strangers. With cell phones, big brother is closer than steps. Most flush less, but inhale chem streams from jets. Even this god used to binge drink. Schlitz, not vex. Never braids, but waves and cameos without the step. No die, never had slits in the brows of the eye. I got conscious, no arrogance or acting obnoxious. 144,000, I'm saying less than that. With all these zombies with big ass shades and big ass hats. Dressing like Lil Wayne, man. Just baggy your slacks. Finger a dyke in the shotgun, then crabby your gats. She goes down for prostitution and find it grand. You for possession and for not washing your hands. It's still love, truth, peace, but put down the peace. Wow, we don't need them when we got justice and freedom. Your mind's a mess. Trust me, I think you're possessed. Let me unhex you with a mudra of Baphomet, and that won't work unless you know being supreme. No chest has the Solomon crest. Always frontin' warm in the Averex. My lowest form of thought is your apex. Iron Sheik X from the Mosque of Malcolm. Devil see me and get wiped without the powder talcum. Raise my sword, keep swinging, no meaning. Flow deep, call me aquamarine men, raising the lost city of Atlantis. When I speak, it's pictures I'm painting on your mental canvas. I broke out the chamber, Allah's come in danger. I self-law, a master coming with my angels. Iron cheek, immaculate without the manger. Alpha hexing, rap boule strangers. Broke out the chamber, Allah's come in danger. I self-law, a master coming with my angels. Iron cheek, immaculate without the manger. Alpha hexing, rap boule strangers.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Case Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a little of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Bob Bass mixing with Rock the hallway. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Saute, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. And over door, I lay in plain sight. But people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the major, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the depth of slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astral plane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life. Finish him.
Moorish or Moor, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts like a dirty Moor or a Drew Ali Craig. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves. Squash my heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis. Niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. They are feminists. Stomped on by elephants. Won't like no prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book, all maleficent. Great cosmic mothers. Return to blessedness. No pestilence. Ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no day-lip shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors present Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Islam Moors, peace and love to all. Peace and love to all Moors worldwide. Canaanland Moors, Sunday meeting. We of course gotta do our ritual. Gotta do our ritual. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work in their homes or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Drew Ali, Islam. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now, by the same people of our side of the nation that claimed that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me, so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. This is the instruction from your Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you would be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but would sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Peace, more. Yo, you hear me?
Again?
You hear me? Or is this thing playing? Oh, all right, okay. I thought you weren't hearing me. So our first stop, which is going to turn into 2 stops because we just got put onto something else that we have to share with the people. Now, let me see. So we'll start with this one. Open your ears, Moors.
Moors. Peace, Moors. Noble Drew Ali brought us what we needed to raise a nation. And that requires that we have some kind of responsibility in all of this, because we must protect what he has already established. And the main thing that he established for us was a body of civics and also the express trust, linking us back to our ancestral estate.
No. Let's just go back, because it's real interesting how certain things were actually told to Moors, for us to not have any doubt in our mind that Noble Drew Ali is the man. He's the one that deserves all the honors. Nobody else should be getting any honors, because everybody's gotten honors except him. Still to this day, he doesn't get the honors that he's supposed to get from his own people. And we know, as Moorish Science Temple of America, Canaanland, Moorish Divine National Movement, Canaanland, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Canaanland, Moorish Nation, Canaanland, we know what Noble Drew Ali brought. We know without a shadow of a doubt what he brought. And people are usurping his stuff to try to make you think that their stuff is something. They're doing no different than NOI and all these people did. We're talking about Moors, though. We're not talking about people who aren't part of this, that should be down with every aspect of this. There's nowhere in the literature. There's nowhere in the literature that you're supposed to put trust above your principal truth. There's no way somebody's going to tell me Noble Drew Ali brought us a trust, but they're not going to say Noble Drew Ali brought us love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, which truth is a trust. And you're the beneficiary of the truth. That's an estate. And then love's an estate. So if these people only talking about Moorish American estate, they have totally lost what Noble Drew Ali brought to them. And they're probably out here playing you, because they don't want to go get a job. They rather rape you than go get a job or go start a business. They want to take nationality and birthrights and make that as if that's a business. And we know Moors that are doing that right now. We're not talking about somebody who has a product and they're giving you a product. We're not talking about somebody who's providing a service because you lay down on the bed and they massage your back or whatever and serviced you for your back pain. We're not talking about those ones. We're talking about the fake versions of those, by the people who don't want to get up. They're the lazy people who all they want to do is take advantage of dumb people. All they want to do is find any individual who doesn't know as much as they know so they could rape them. And then tell you about honors of Noble Drew Ali. Now I want to know. You're claiming all this Moorish whatever as Moorish Consulate. And because you're Moorish Consulate, you have delegation of authority to give people Moorish American travel documents. This is your claim. Now, if your claim is that you know what Noble Drew Ali brought, and you're giving you honor him and whatever, why is it that when we go check your stuff, right? Because the only reason I have all this stuff is because we went to them about getting some Moorish American travel documents for the Moors near Canaanland, because we realized that, hey, this stuff works. You might as well get some. If it works, Moors got issues and they want to use a passport and all that, all right, hey, there's a Moorish one for you to use. You're questioning certain things. So when they sent me their little package or whatever to prove to me that, yeah, you know, this is where it's at. This is where it's at. It's not about anything that you did before this. Where it's at is what we're doing right now with this Moorish American travel document. All right, well, let's check your stuff. So they're telling me about flags that they made up. They're telling you a flag you made up when Noble Drew Ali had a flag that's been flying for 50,000 years over here. Why am I going to compromise my birthright to ride with you and some other people call yourself Moorish Consulate when you're not even flying my flag? That's not a Moorish flag. I don't know what that is. I don't know where that came from. I don't care who made that. I know for a fact that's not what Noble Drew Ali said our flag looks like. So right there, disqualified already. Don't tell me anything about Noble Drew Ali, especially when we're going through this travel document and all we're seeing is Negroes up in here. I have all these Negroes in the travel document. Why is Selena in a Moorish American travel document? Why is Janet Jackson from Poetic Justice, not even the real her, the her from Poetic Justice, is in your Moorish American travel document and you're taking this serious? Why? Why is Martin Luther in there for? What's he in there for? He's not. What Moorish American is he? We're proclaimed he's Moorish American. Did he do that at? Oh, because he mentioned some mountaintop or something in some speech? No, that's not a proclamation of anything. Why is it that Jimi Hendrix and Bob Marley's in the Moorish American travel document? Why are these people in there? Can't give me any answers. All right, I guess that's just how they do their stuff. Yes, that's how they do their stuff. So how come Noble Drew Ali's not in there? Oh yeah, Noble Drew Ali's right here next to Marcus Garvey. What? Why is Elijah Muhammad in there? He's a traitor. Why is he in my document that I'm supposed to use to represent me as a Moorish American? Why is Elijah Muhammad in there? These people undermine Noble Drew Ali. That's why they call themselves Nation of Islam and not Moorish Nation. They take some picture of him in a fez, put it in there as if he's down with the Moors or something. They're not down with Moors. People aren't down because they undermine to be where they're at right now. And I'm supposed to have these people in my travel document? Pfft, you're crazy. I'm better off with my nationality card. I'm better off with a Canadian passport because I'm doing fraud by using this. And this fraud is worse than the fraud I'm doing with some Europeans or whatever that putting out some passport. But at least with them, I could say reserve my rights, and I could still put down my nationality card and not have any issues with these people. Because we're taught that the straw man is ex-rel. If anybody's telling you anything about straw men, and they're not telling you about the ex-rel perspective of straw man, they're playing you. They're about to sell you a package. Because if you talk about ex-rel, then they can't sell you the package because you realize what the straw man is. But nah, you want to go with what we're saying. You're going to go with these people who are telling you some guy who we don't even know is Noble Drew Ali next to Marcus Garvey. And they have Selena in the damn travel document. And you're taking this serious? This is their emails to me when we wanted to find out what's up with this Moorish American travel document. Because we know Moor's got issues. And if I look over there and I see a Moor doing something and it works, then let me see what this Moor is doing, because this stuff works. But now I'm questioning, well, hold on a second. Well, why wouldn't it work? You got all the Negroes in there. You're not doing anything. You're not really doing anything. You're playing the game. Because all I see is Negroes in there. That's no different than what the Negro guys are doing and get their little recognition. Oh, because their passport Moorish American travel document worked, I'm gonna renounce my whatever I did and go with these guys now because their stuff works. You know how warped that is as a mindset? Because there's people who did that. There's people who said, oh wow, Moorish American Consulate, and they're gonna give ID and they're gonna do nationality paperwork. Oh well, I already proclaimed my nationality, but I'm gonna renounce that. I'm gonna give back my membership to Canaanland because those people said I can't be part of their stuff if I'm part of Canaanland. So I renounce my Canaanland membership to the temple, and I'm gonna go join these guys.
Now let's question that though, because my thing is, what are you getting? What is this all about? What do you want? You want something. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing this for? Like, you're gonna give away your nationality to join this guy because he's giving out passports that, when you look at it, they're not even waving your ancestral. They're not waving your nation's flag on it. It's waving something that they just made up yesterday. But my thing is, I'm questioning the individual who clicked on the advertisement. I'm questioning them for what do you want this so-called travel document for? Where are you going? What do you want this passport for? What are you doing?
Yeah, like are you telling me that you know your uncle's sick or whatever like that, and you know they're trying to stop you from going to see him, or you telling me that something happened in, you know, wherever that your family lives and you need to get home immediately or whatever, or you telling me about you're gonna go on the beach and take selfies?
Yep.
If you want a Moorish American travel document to go on the beach and take selfies, then your perspective's off. Your perspective's way off, and you probably need to correct yourself.
That's because my thing is, there's not millions of package sellers, but it seems like there's an overwhelming people who's looking to buy something so they can get something. They're not looking for it to know who they are. to study their forefathers and foremothers. They're not in it for that. Like I was telling the Grand Sheik, I'm still walking. I'm still doing I'm still walking everywhere. I'm still doing that. I'm still, my Moabite, I told him, I said, she bought me some sneakers and we're arguing because I didn't want the sneakers. I wanted her to get me some more seeds for the garden. And we're arguing because I didn't want the sneakers. I can wear all those Negro sneakers that I bought when I was dumb nigger, stacking them over the years. All of those are my gardening sneakers now. Like, I don't need to go buy any more new. So, but that's why I'm questioning. I'm like, what do we really want? Like, they're getting in it. I always look at other nations and stuff like, this. You don't get a benefit for being Chinese. Like, there's still Chinese people who still at so-called village, living in the village, who are happy, prosperous. You know what I mean? Like, doing their thing.
There's also Chinese people getting paid $2 a month working in a sweatshop.
There you go.
And they're not trying to find no package to get out of that or whatever. You deal with your circumstances.
And that's my other thing too, the foundation of what's going on right now. Like, the guy we're talking about, who is he? Where are you? Like, the thing, we're noticing that you're in so-called China. How are you in so-called China doing stuff here? But Moors go to these so-called courts all day and say you don't have jurisdiction, but then go to this guy who's not even here and give him jurisdiction. How are we doing that? He's in so-called China. He doesn't have jurisdiction here. How is he doing that? Shit, where those Moors, because those are Moors in those sweatshops that's getting $2 an hour that the Grand Sheik was talking about. Where are their ancestral documents? Why isn't he helping them get their travel documents together? Where's their ancestral estate? Why wouldn't he help them there? Why are you over here?
Yeah,
bothering people.
Like, why are you over here? Find me some Moors near China that you helped out. Find me those Moors. Those are Moors we want to talk to. We don't want to know about Moors who are in California and have your documents. Because going back again to questioning these people, why are you going to some guy across the Atlantic Ocean to get your travel stuff for here? That doesn't even make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
That's no different than the Moors who are in different jurisdictions that are honorable members of Canaanland Temple. And then they call me up, and I know that there's a Moor that's in their territory that's dealing with the exact situation that they're dealing with, but I'm going to say, no, I'm going to deal with them. Why would I deal with them? Why wouldn't I send him to the Moor who's down the street from him, who I know is on the same mindset that I'm on, who I know is going to give him the right information, I sell him a package? Why wouldn't I just let him do it? I'm not in that jurisdiction. So for someone to tell me they're going to somebody who's in China, like, why are you even there? He's been there for a decade. How come he hasn't been doing this for a decade there? How come when we check the record, we don't see Nine Feathers Bay has been doing Moorish activity in China for the past decade? Right in your face, they're showing you that they're not even flying what Noble Juali said is your flag. How could these people be honorable? They're making up a flag to take pictures instead of taking pictures with their flag.
They got all these so-called celebrities up in their website. You think they've met any of these people? So they got Selena in there, you said?
Selena. That's Selena in the travel document.
All this is false advertisement. Because none of these people, even if you're trying to say that they were Moors or something, they never said they were Moors. all that's misrepresentation. Just to get, and I don't. Again, it was the person who clicked on it is the issue. Because you didn't see all these red flags, man. She used to put all these videos up. Red flag, red flag, red flag.
Exactly.
Y'all didn't see all those red flags? You just still clicking. Because what? Again, what do you want this stuff for? What do you want this passport for? Where you going?
Even on the level of nationality card, what do you want this for?
But there you go.
Forget these guys and their documents. All about what Noble Drew Ali brought, your nationality card.
Yep.
What do you want that for? And how are you going to tell me you're down with the Moorish whatever when you have some travel document that came yesterday but don't have a nationality card? That's another one. Because you act like nationality card is not a prerequisite for anything else you want to do. Right? This is not clubism. If people want to do clubism, but you don't call our name and stuff like that just because you want to try to get some clout. This is not about clout. We don't do this for clout. We don't do this for clout. We do this because we know that our people are classified as Negro, Black, colored, and we have the information that's going to save them. That's why we do this. Period. There's no other reason why we do this. And it's either that people are going to get on the side of, oh, wow, I know what this is too. Let me help put this work out so we could get our people to know the truth about their nationality and birthrights. Or you're on the side of, how could we sell this to our people?
Mm-hmm.
How could we make some money off our people by selling them this? How can we present this to them in a way that they think it's nationality, but really and truly, we're just living off them because they're dumbass and they don't want to study.
Mm-hmm. And if he tried that stuff to the Manchurians out, the people out in China, they'll put his ass right in jail. Try that selling packages crap out there to them people. Or they'll stone them. You find that Moor looking crazy somewhere, ripping somebody off like that. You're not going to do that to them people out there. Only reason why they're going to do it here is because, like that guy at my job told me years ago, the people are just gullible. They just fall for anything. That's right. He all the way over there. That's what, and they've been doing this. All them so-called foreign countries that set up those commercial info things that call elderly people houses, all of those clubs are always overseas, and they're calling over here because this people over here are all gullible, and he's one of the same people. That's one of those in those foreign places that's calling over here, getting notes. It's the same setup. Yep. What's the difference? Yep. He's doing the same thing.
Raping you. Then you're letting them.
And you falling for it.
You're falling for it. You're letting them rape you when you know this is the telephone scammer guy. This is the telephone scammer guy, and you're talking about the social, 7893330. Are you dumb? This is the guy who calls you for heavy accent. You know he's not from here, but you're giving him your credit card number. You're gonna just give him your credit card number just because. No, you're a Moor. You're a Moor.
Well, he said he was part of the organization. Well, he said he's a Moor. It's the same line. You sound just like them people. You're like, why would you give them your private information? Oh, they said they was part of the what's the name? And we saying the same thing right now. Why would you pay the 3,000 notes to this guy? Oh, they said there was a Moor. It's the same line. Same thing. You guys getting hit. Because, the incompetence is real. It's real.
Really real.
Still thinking you was going because they called you and told you You was the, how they call you and told you you was the 10th caller. Now you won. They called you. But you was the 10th caller. You the 10th caller. And that's the same setup. They got all those info advertisement pictures up. We all know that that's fraud. Those pictures ain't got nothing to do with nothing we supposed to be talking about. But he got them up there because it's sucking you in. It's sucking you in. And then now he wants to come at the grand sheet because he's slandering.
And again, for clarification, right? Somebody was asking in the chat, where'd it go? Start talking about what we've done, right? Or just let you show how the works let you know what's being done, right? The works lets you know, and you could just go talk to Al Khalid Bey, and he'll let you know. Peace and greetings, brethren. And I'm sending you this message to thank you for all and everything that you are doing. You are truly doing the work of the prophet under the will of Allah. I asked many Moors for months to help me with getting out of the fire, and being a righteous Moor, I know how to navigate enough not to be a victim. No more through the courts. I am highly grateful for what you are doing for our nation, which is the straight and narrow path the prophet spoke to keep doing what you're doing. I would support you on everything you are doing. And thanks again for teaching me how to navigate among the Inquisition, who are seeking to make commerce off me. When other Moors ignored me, you taught me about those same dirty Moors in the temple who were looking to sell me out, and how to have standing in court. So thanks again. May Allah protect you, guide you, give you everything that you need to continue your journey for uplifting fallen humanity, Islam. That's what we're doing out here. That's what we're doing. Giving people the information that they need in order to save themselves. And 99% of the time, 99% of the time, they get rvbaypublications.com as the place to go to start this journey that they're going on, that they don't even know where the hell they're going. They just know any way but the way that we were going. All right, well, if you're going to go into the wilderness, you might want to have a map and compass and certain stuff like that. You're not just going in there empty hands. You're just walking into the jungle, the Amazon or something. More than likely, you're going to take some things with you to make sure you can navigate. But nobody can't make you a Moor. This is a straight and narrow path that you have to walk. I'm on the other end of the straight and narrow thing, and I keep going back and forth on the straight and narrow thing. Because I don't have to do the walking scared and trying to, oh my gosh, keep my balance and all that stuff. Because we walk the straight and narrow. Because that's what this is. It's not because we're special walking guys. We resonate with Moors who they be this. This is not some book thing or some you saw on YouTube thing or you saw on IG thing. This is a being. This Moor was just being. His energy told me that he wanted to be, and these temple Moors were stifling him. That he can't do this, he can't do that. Where you need permission from the Grand Sheikh to do what? This is your birthright. What do you mean Grand Sheikh has to give you permission to write a book about Noble Drew Ali? What the hell are you talking about?
That's clubbism.
What are you talking about? If that's what people think this is, you've been played crazy. You've been played so crazy, you don't even know how you've been played. Right? You think these people don't know the games that they're playing? They're putting Kudro Adwo L in all caps in the chat and stuff like that. You think these people don't know the games that they're playing? Because anybody who knows whatever knows that, that's a straw. So that ain't who yeah, that's who you're talking to. Then hope they answer you. I'm telling you, there's traitors in this movement. There's traitors in your nation. There's traitors in all the associations and the organizations and the consular this and the sovereign that and whatever. There's traitors everywhere. That's why Noble Juali died. Because of people on his side of the nation that thought this was all joke and unreal. And they want to eat the steak and stuff like that. Talk about is a good steak. Yeah.
He told you about them when he was white. He was alive. He was telling you. He had to go around to all the temples and put everybody on notice about what was going on. Dirty Moors is going crazy. He had to go all crazy. And they did that while he was alive.
They did that while he was alive. Right. Somebody opened the cave, had let these trolls out. Somebody opened the cage.
Are they in the chat?
Oh, of course they're in the chat. And they could push the button. Because you already know we control it on our thing. So
we already seen them get their leader guy get destroyed. Their level of incompetence is also extreme. Once I saw their leader guy who goes at the Moors crazy. He even sat there and said he didn't know the information that those Moors that day was putting out. He didn't know that. He didn't know about none of those executive orders or whatever that they were talking about. None of that. None of that. That the Berbers, they were using Berbers and Negro in the same thing and similar and stuff like that. Like, in my thing, 99.9% of these Europeans, modern Europeans that's in the chat, are just going to put a bunch of opinions. I noticed that too. Everything that they say is opinion. Everything is opinion. Everything that they say is opinion. That's their whole formality. It's based off of opinion. Because remember, they only exist because of opinion. They really don't have anything. So everything they do is based off of opinion. No facts, none, zero. I've been noticed that. It's crazy too, because they just keep on saying their opinion and their opinion.
No facts.
Like and then they'll say they're entitled to their opinion. That was an opinion too. The statement, oh, you're entitled to your own opinion. That's an opinion. No facts, zero. And then when they try, it's colored because they're using the word in its wrong definition. And then when we put it in its correct definition, they want to use colorable terms like we're using the wrong dictionary and stuff like that. Again, their opinion. Back to their opinion.
Oh, we'll get Brother Azim in there. Islam, Moor.
Islam, Grand Sheik.
What's good, boy?
Islam, Moor.
We're not hearing you. I guess they're messing with it. They always mess with the more stuff when he's on there too. He always gives problems. Yeah. Always. All right, so yeah, let's get back to this thing.
And did you know that there are people that are not Moorish American nationals that are actually using your AA 222141 registration number from the Library of Congress? right, to take your non-tax obligatory status. And in some cases, they're crossing your...
Islam, Moor.
Okay. Now, my thing is, I look at the AA22141 when they use it as a non-tax obligatory situation, when they use it as that. When we were using it in the beginning, when I first started using it, I was under the impression that not only is it we're not paying the so-called tax, but because of that acknowledgement, they're losing their power on our ancestral estate because we're not acknowledging that. It wasn't just the so-called benefit of, oh, I get to keep a couple extra pennies in my pocket. That's what it is. A couple of pieces, some change or something. So if anybody who used it, I just looked at it like they were going against the so-called colonization of the Moroccan Empire. Because if I'm going to pay tax, if anything, if I'm going to pay tax, it should be to the people who own the land. I shouldn't have to pay a tax to somebody who it doesn't belong to. Like, so, because he's making it seem like the when somebody's not paying their taxes, it's wrong because they should be paying their taxes to the United States government. That's how he's making it seem. No, they're not the government. No one should be paying them anything.
Exactly.
They're not who you're saying they are. That's Jiffy Lube. That's criminal what they're doing.
Yep.
But again, when it comes to fitting their agenda, that's when they want to pick and choose when the United States is who they are and not who they are. They know that that's a foreign corporation.
Yeah, everything's good. Everything's good when it's time to fill out your SF-181 form and all that stuff, and fill out your IRS papers so you don't get tax on your check and all that stuff. All that's cool. There's no issues there. You know how to do that. Reserve your rights, put in these contracts with them, and then you know how to maneuver in the system.
Yep, under the guise of, you already know, this threat, duress, and corrosion. Everything. That's how you're supposed to look at it. Any of your paperwork you got to fill out is under threat, duress, and corrosion. Anytime you got to use their Federal Reserve notes, it's under threat, duress, and corrosion. It's not under the guise of, I got to stack, I got to get the bag.
Or the guise of save some taxes.
Right. That's no. Threat, duress, and corrosion.
And keep in mind, all this BS that we're talking about that people are doing with the Moorish stuff instead of just doing what they're supposed to do, right? That's not to take away from, oh, well, so because things are bad, don't get down with this. Oh, no, if you got clean heart and you're going to do stuff right, yeah, get down with this. Yeah, be part of this. Well, you better watch who you're dealing with, because there's people who you're dealing with that they're out here to play you, to make sure that you stay in confusion. Just like Drew Ali told you in the stuff to be read every meeting, that you just go check the records for the past how much every years and go look around at all these other Moors having meetings and see who's reading the stuff before every meeting that Drew Ali told these Moors to read, and see who's not. That'll let you know who's down with what Noble Drew Ali is doing. Right? And when oh, go ahead, Moore, go ahead.
I just, because it's long, because it's, to me, it's still, okay, like you're saying, if the Moors is going to, like, it's some good Moors out there that want to get this, this document and want to do the right thing with it or whatnot. But it's just that the guy who's doing the information, if he's not doing it, like, okay, there's good people that wants to get the document. If he's doing the right thing, saying he just put a video out, these are the steps. Boom, 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 boom. And I mean, you just do it this way. If you keep following these exact steps, you can actually have your own so-called passport. You don't have to get it, because You're trying to uplift fallen humanity. You're about helping your people. You know what I mean? Like, just put the information out there. Why is it, okay, I figured it out. I need to get this benefit, and now everybody got to come to me. What's that about?
Yeah, what is that? What is that?
You said Noble Drew Ali, you know, in the Express Trust, but the Noble Drew Ali also brought the 5 principles, and the first one was love. What you're doing is not love.
And opposed to correct their traitorous actions, they want to start talking about Kudro's not doing stuff. So no, you're not gonna divert stuff away from the fact that you're a traitor and that your activities have been traitorous. It's no different than people going on the messages, the comments on the videos, making comments crazy. Bring up certain facts. Well, here's a fact. Oh, they don't want to deal with that. They're talking about something else over here. Why are you talking about other stuff? Deal with the facts.
Always. Never.
Right? Deal with the
Never.
facts. But don't worry, we're gonna address everything because they talk crazy. Like they know what they're talking about.
Appellation out at these different stores on the record and putting their name with an L or Bay on the record. Did you know that? Did you know that there are people that are not Moorish Americans, that are not in primogeniture status, that are in the process of making allodial estate claims?
No, let's just see what we have here, right? Black's Law Dictionary, 1355. Primogenitor, the state of being the firstborn among several children of the same parents. Seniority by birth in the same family. The superior or exclusive right possessed by the eldest son, and particularly his right to succeed to the estate of his ancestor in right of his seniority by birth to the exclusion of younger sons. So what that really means is that what that really means is that that's some patriarchal idea.
Yep.
Remember, this is Black Law Dictionary. Remember, Noble Drew Ali's holding mother. These people are telling you descendants of some son's BS. You don't realize you just abandoned your own birthright?
Yeah, you did. Right back into slavery.
And then everybody following that now. Oh, he said primogenitor, so we're going to start using that word as if that applies to this, like that. It doesn't apply like that. Because keep in mind, if they're talking about the state of being the firstborn among several children, the several children are all the other races on the planet. And the eldest, quote unquote, son is really the eldest nation. And ain't nobody older than the melanin beings on the planet called Earth, or the plane called Earth, or whatever you think it is. We, the dark-skinned people, ran this place. We were the firstborn for millions of years before there were even other races. We were firstborn times over. So because we're the firstborn, that's why Moors say primogenitor. Moors don't say primogenitor from some warped perspective about sons and all this. When you're adept-minded Moors, everything is spirit. Nothing is apparent. We know these people are the enemies on the higher plane that we're battling right now. Like Moore said, just take their head because this is the matrix. So we're going to call all the dirty Moors out and all that stuff because we know that that has spiritual signification by telling truth by being honest, by not being a traitor.
Yep. Oh yeah, I noticed that, Grand Sheik. Ever since you started calling the crimes out of these dirty Moors, they've been going crazy in the chat, coming out. They've been going even harder.
Coming out
Stepped on some toes.
as if they have a position. You already chose your side. You already chose your side. So there's not a thing of we have to challenge something or debate something to see if, no, we already know what side you're on. It's clearly obvious based on your actions, right? Based on individuals' actions. Because everybody knows we deal with unity, right? Why would I write a book nationality to the Rastafarians, to the Garveyites, to the Pan-Africans, to everybody if I'm not about unity? People are about their ego, and they don't want to put down their childish things and grow up, right? They don't want to grow up. They don't want to take the high road that the moral Moors have taken, sacrificing all types of madness. Just like the Moor said, Moor doesn't have shoes, but you can get some collard greens, chop those up, freeze that. You got some food for the next couple weeks. Yeah, these people are talking crazy, but nah, you're all right with that. Right? Because they're going to play their little game as if where they're at is where it's at, and that's not where it's at. They're playing you. They're playing games with you. Why are they playing games with you? Because they have ulterior motives. Whatever those motives are, I could care less. But I know for a fact, if I'm a Moor, I don't want no damn travel document with no Negroes in there. Forget that. There's too many pictures of Moors for you to tell me about some travel document with Negroes in there, with unproclaimed Moors in there, as if they're part of this like that. They're not part of this like that. How are you telling me Moorish? How are you telling me Moorish travel document, but you have red on yellow, not red on green? How come the tassel's not green? How come the writing's not green? Why? Why does it take after the fact, now you're going to change stuff or whatever like that to try to, or if you're going to keep it as it is, then I'm questioning your stuff, because our colors are red and green. Like that, what are the colors we repping? Right?
While saying that they are Moorish Americans, for instance, you have some people that claim to be First Nations and Indians that are filing paperwork, right? Sending paperwork to the U.S. departments stating that they are Moorish Americans. And the first question that they have been asking is, how do I do allodial land claims?
Yeah, but why wouldn't that be the first question they're asking? They're on a reserve that all these chiefs sold them out. And because all these chiefs sold them out, sold their own people out, now their people are suffering. What are the options they got to get their stuff back?
Right.
What align themselves with the Moors, which is what they should have did in the first place. Instead of making these dummy treaties that now they can't get out of, right? Because they didn't align with the Moors in the first place. Now they realize what's going on. They're trying to align with the Moors, and then Moors are looking at them and saying, "Oh no, you can't claim that you're a Moor." What do you mean? They're Asiatic. They come from across the Bering Strait or whatever. They're Asiatic. Matter of fact, it should be China Moor guy, who's really dealing with the Indians here, because we already know the Indians here came across the Bering Strait. And they're not the Aboriginal and indigenous Moors of the Americas. They're later Native Americans, American Indians. All those people came over here on the Bering Strait. They're from Asia. So what Moorish consular court guy in China supposed to be doing is really administering to these people who are on the reserves. Because we know the people here who are on the reserves are not the Aboriginal indigenous people. The Aboriginal indigenous people are the people classified as Negro, black, colored. It doesn't matter what we call ourselves once we're black in America. So we can keep begging for slave benefits that you're never going to get. Those are the real Aboriginal and indigenous people. The people who are claiming to be Aboriginal, Métis and Ojibwe and all that stuff, all those people came over here on the Bering Strait. They came over here before Europeans, for sure. But everybody knows they're not the indigenous people. That's why they're on the reserve. That's why they can't prance around free like the dark-skinned people who they call nigger. Because nigger doesn't know himself. He thinks he's nigger. European knows all this history, but he's claiming that he's white people and all this because of sovereign status, opposed to a dead status, which these people whose land it is, they're claiming that as their status. Then you have these people that have been here for a long time, but they're not from here. They're foreigners. But they got scooped up into everything when they started playing their colonial games. Because you're going to realize that the Aboriginal indigenous people everywhere on the planet are the darkest ones. Anybody else? That's later. So because these individuals are Asiatics, which means they came to the Americas by crossing the Bering Strait, then that would mean the delegation of authority guys who are claiming authority under Moorish Consulate, and they have a Moorish American travel document, that should be the administration, that should be the body that deals with these Native Americans over here who don't know themselves. And they need to find their way back. That's who they should be dealing with. And then leave the Moors alone, because you're in China. So you can't do anything for a Moor on this side of the planet if you're in China and that's where you are. All you can do is send stuff in the mail. And again, if this is nationality and birthrights, then you can't buy it like that. Because if you're claiming to be Moorish Consulate, and the Moorish Consulate is supposed to be set up in order for, if there's issues with some foreigner in your land, that you have a competent jurisdiction to hear the stuff. Why are you selling paperwork and stuff like that? Why are you sealing paperwork? You're kind of doing a function that's already being done by bodies of Moors. Why are you recreating the wheel?
All the way from China.
All the way from China. You're creating the wheel for over here, where there's already Moors with travel documents that's been using travel documents prior to this travel document.
Right.
So for them to come and push like their travel document is the one to get and all that, you know that they're playing a game with you. You know they're playing a game with you. Right?
Right? Or allodial land repossessions. This is what they're doing. I don't know if you all know about this, and it's getting worse.
Oh, and again, Nothing's getting worse because he's talking about one guy on a reserve. He's not talking about some 500 calls he got from all these different people saying that they're Indians and we talked to Cujo and Cujo said that we're Moors. Yo, he's talking about one individual. He's making a stink for one individual who we told about ipso jure Moorish status. Just like we told Latif, ipso jure Moorish status. You don't say Bay and stuff like that because you're European, but you're under our allegiance. You're under our protection. So in this colonial jurisdiction or whatever, this is how you talk. This is your protection, the knowledge that we're giving you. The protection isn't some paper because these people are colored. They don't recognize Jack. You're going to have to activate your higher self and all that in order for you to get through some of this stuff that people are talking about. They want to be Moors. No, you don't. How would you deal with highwayman behind you following you? Highwayman stopping you just because they want to. And then they stop you, whether walking, traveling, whatever like that, and they let you go. You think you want some of that? You want some of that because there's stuff that comes with that. Then they might not let you go. They might kidnap you. And then they're kidnapping you and they're not letting people get phone calls to you and stuff like that. All because you thought being a Moor is, I have this card, so whenever something happens, show this card. Oh yeah? That's what they told you this is about before they sold you that document? So they didn't prep you at all. They didn't do anything to prepare you for what's to come once you say, yes, this is my ID or my who I say I am or my document or the people who sold you that, they never prepped you. They just sold you that without, you never went to any classes, nothing. You just went and just got this thing because some guy over there said 3,000. A guy over there said 3,000 for this, and you just went and paid just because he said that this works. And they didn't prep you. They didn't give you any type of direction. They just said, oh yeah, send in your money, send in your picture, send in your whatever, and then we're going to send you the thing. And then when you get it, now you're officially a Moor and you could do whatever.
And on top of that, you're not studying. You're not studying because that's why they're getting you in the first place. Because obviously you haven't been studying.
Obviously you're not studying if they're getting you like that. If they're getting you like that, if it's getting you like that, then it's really you at that point. It has nothing to do with these traders. You're just dumb and you're following traders because you're not studying. You're taking this as some buy your nationality. You can't buy your nationality.
That's human trafficking.
Right? Like they think, there's a let me in. You won't let me in. Of course I won't let you in. Because these people aren't about doing anything. You're not about doing anything to help the nation. You just want to argue about dumb stuff. You just want to continue your slander, trying to stop something. Our point is just stop the BS. You're not gonna turn us off and make us join you guys to be dirty Moors. That's not happening. We're not gonna be traitors like you're gonna be traitors. So, that's how we do this. Let that do them and I'll just do me. Do your thing. But when your thing is when the thing that you're doing is injuring people and I have to deal with the calls because you people are being dirty traitors, then I'm going to talk about it because I'm the one that's getting the calls from these people. They're confused. What are you confused about? Are you Negro by color? Yeah. Okay, so then nothing's going to work for you. Okay, no, well, I'm not Negro black color because, okay, so I know that I'm a Moor. All right, so if you know that you're a Moor, like what you want? Yeah, well, I was listening to and the guy said the trust of Noble Drew Ali, and I wanted to put my name in the trust so that I can get. How are you talking about trust when you're telling me about dirty Moors? Which means that there's no trust. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean trust? You were just dealing with dirty Moors. You're dealing with dirty Moors who are telling you $3,000 for your nationality in order for you to have a trust. Which the fact that you paid for it like that lets you know there's no trust. But you're going with some paper that they got that's a trust. Right? It was Moors. It was Moors and Europeans why we have the building that we have right now. So you gotta tell me I'm not gonna honor the Muslim sons. You gotta tell me because they're European, they shouldn't be able to get a Quran to read a Quran. Why not? Because they're European, they can't read a Quran? Because they're European, they can't learn about Moorish nationality and birthrights? Why not? Why can't they learn about this?
So juris Moorish subjects.
If they're Moorish subjects, shouldn't they know about who's governing them?
It's the law.
What you mean?
They better.
Right? Because they're European? That's Negro mindset. That's I'm still black. I just wear a fez mindset. If you're telling me about some oh well those are Europeans, so they're the enemy and all this. What are you talking about? I know more Europeans that are down with this 100 than people who say that they're down with this. Islam, brother Azim.
Islam. You can hear me pretty good?
Yeah, we can hear you. If you have anything to add right now, you can go in.
Yeah, I was just saying, you see my avatar, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I had to put it on there for the trolls that think that these Albions, shouldn't have nothing to do with the Moorish Empire. Because if history serves us correct, and if Moor does true study and understand that Albions got everything from Moors. Everything they are came from Moors. Everything they learned came from Moors. So how could they not be part of the Moor empire? Not be the Moor, and so you give us, dirty Moors out here, that's called Moors assisting European sons as traders or whatever, because they have no sense of real history. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Albions lived amongst Moors many
They're
years,
breaking you up again.
before the war.
They're breaking you up.
Yeah, and Albions. You can hear me good?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm saying Albions lived amongst Moors, the Moorish Empire, in peace for many years, before all hell broke loose. And and it's many documentation that could prove that, many historical references that could prove that. Even you on your show, on the Canaanland Moorish channel on YouTube, have went through this. You know what I mean? And showed the references where you got from. So other Moors could look it up, and other naysayers, could go research themselves. But man knows not by being told. Like the prophet said, and you can tell a lot of these cats, they have a lot of ulterior motives because they're always pushing against what good Moors are doing, but they never call out or push against what dirty Moors are doing. Have you noticed that?
Mm-hmm.
And and the proof is in the works. You know what I mean? Like you could judge a man off of his character based off of his works. And one of the main reasons why I even uh, uh, you know follow Cujo L on Instagram, social media, or on YouTube, because he's one of the few Moors that shows the proof and put in the work to helping the people, to help and following humanity. It's a lot of interference that I see people try to run, with good Moors trying to do good, for following humanity.
Yep.
And when a lot of these cats, especially in the chat, these trolls will always come in the chat and say their little comments, but they'll never click on the stream, the link that you put on the stream, so they could so they could make verbal their grievances, like talk like a man, if you got a disagreement with a Moor, then you know call up to the show, so people can actually hear what you got to say, show your face, you know what I mean? But don't hide in the comments and just talk about, troll on certain things, whatever, because you just showing your ignorance, when the trolls do that. And real Moors know what's up. They don't get caught in the whole he say, she say, or the gossip or whatever, they sit down and learn. And if I'm listening to a Moor, I'm gonna listen with full attention, and I'm not gonna sit in there try to slander the man or try to pick apart what he's saying. I'll just do my own research, like a real Moor, supposed to, and get down to the bottom of what I learned, so I could have, a better understanding and get, to the meat of it, get to the truth of it. And for another thing, you could tell a Moor is not studied when they talk about European this, European that, because real Moors know that a studied, intelligent Moors know that Europeans ain't got nothing to do with ambiance, because that nationality, well, I would say European is more like a tribal name, because it has nothing to do with, the ambiance. It's just, for modern purposes, they were given that title to identify. But that title doesn't even belong to them, because the ancient Europeans were Moors. The ancient Britons, the Danes, the ancient Germans. All these people came from. You know what I mean? So there's no such thing as an Albion European. That's why they're called European sons, because they're sons of the Europeans, and the original Europeans are Moors.
Right. Islam.
Islam.
Brother Yusuf, you got anything to add?
Yeah, get the book. Gateway from Atlantis by Andrew Collins. He goes in on everything that this brother basically telling you about, the side where he said earlier about the Albion culture is basically Moorish history. So, like, they forcefully have to be part of the Moorish paradigm just because their thought process is based off of Moorish science. I'm not even, it's only a handful of them that act belligerent to the fact, because even their so-called scholars admit that the Moors are the art and code of civilization. They say that. These Abayans even mention the fact that the best time they were under was when they were slaves to the Moors. They glorified that. They didn't have no problems being slaves to the Moors. Like, that was an honor. Because I read books where the slaves got to sit at the head of the table. The Moor would let them sit at the head of the table, wear the best clothing and all of that. You was, getting the best treatment when you were a slave to the Moor.
Yep.
So it's only a handful of them. But Andrew Collins, he talks about it from that perspective all the way to the Masonic side, showing you, like, Yeah, all of that in between, from regularly all the way to Freemasonry. Their whole thing is dealing with the Moors in every aspect.
Mhm.
And not some pale Arab neither. I think that's another paradigm that they try to push nowadays again, because that's old, but they try to push that back
Yeah,
again.
They got trying to find something to use.
Right.
Yeah. Big up the pale Arabs
When you
again.
can just type in the Moorish chief. That's it. You just type in the Moor. We didn't even make that video. Moors didn't even make that video. They made that video.
Yeah.
Showing you. Like, this is the Moor right here. It's the famous painting. It's called the Moorish chief. It's the famous painting.
If you have any issues, just push the thing. Tell us that, prove to us that we're wrong. And we don't want your opinion either. Because it's not an illusion that the Moors are awake. The Moors are back. All this stuff about, you know what I mean? The Moors are sleeping and this and that. Know that the Moors are back. The Moors been back. Right? The Moors have returned. Return of the ancients and all that is us.
Islam.
Right? Islam, more good.
Yeah, more. I just wanted to add. I have a theory. A theory about everything that's going on right now in the world today. And it's more fact than theory, but I just base it in the category of theory, just so because I'm further researching and further understanding this concept that I came up with, but it all points to what's going on in today's climate, today's environment, as far as the geopolitical aspect, especially right here in North America with with Trump being president. I find it no coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. Everything is by divine order. I find it very intriguing that Trump is ran for the Republican Party, and the Republican Party color is red. Just like the Moorish fez. Just like the Moorish flag. And it's funny because if you look at all the opposition that he was met with, not only from the Democrat Party, but from damn near the whole world, because other nations, other people in other nations had issues with him being president, with that and the third. And when you see everything that he was doing to actually bring down the corporation, and free it up to where it's actually going to be assisting Moors into rising back, into power. I don't know how people can't see that. So, and how they'll try to demonize Albions, that stand for good things or trying to, do good for majority of humanity. It's the same way they'll try to demonize Moors in that same fashion. And I just noticed, the energies are high, and everything that's going on today was ushered in by Moors waking back up. Have we not have pushed forward the agenda of what the prophet set out for us to do? If majority of us would still sleep and not push the empire forward, like by changing the literature, changing our minds, our spirits, and walk this path, being who we are, I don't believe any of this change would have happened. I don't believe any of this opposition or push would have happened from those that deal in the lesser realms, in the lower realms, in the lower energies, in the lower chakras. And so I believe throughout the years, everything that's happening today manifested because of Moors waking back up out of their sleep, out of their slumber, and of course things happening on the spiritual realm as well. And it's just funny, and everything happened in the year 2020. So much is being revealed, so much is being so much old uh, shadows and veils that were once covered over our eyes are being revealed and destroyed as we speak. And that's the only reason why you have all these things all these things happening now because now the line is drawn, and people are either going to be on the path of righteousness or on the path of destruction. There's no
Yep.
in between anymore. So
Yep.
that's why you see so much happening at so fast of a pace because the planet Earth is aligning, the universe is aligning, everything is aligning back to truth. All the false concepts, all the false religious,
Everything is
uh,
just gonna be destroyed. Yep.
absolutely everything, and
Everything.
the righteous albions are trying to get it right. If you really peep game what's going on, the righteous albions they're trying to get it right. They're trying to get on the
They
right side of
know.
the ball.
They know
Oh
what's
yeah,
up. Yeah.
oh yeah.
They know what's
That's
up.
why they're trying to put Black Lives Matter and all this. They're trying to kiss ass to the Moors because they know their time is up. They know it's over. They know
Yep.
that whole rule that they had, the whole power, uh, uh, colonization, anything they had that took them to power is collapsing, and the
Mm-hmm.
whole and the nations of the world are becoming who they are. They're pushing nationalism. They're not into the whole colorable law, colorable fiat. Anything that has to do with that false world that we've been living in for the past 200 years or so, um, is falling down. Now, a lot of them are they're trying to shift their whole paradigm into righteousness because they see the writing on the wall, and and that's the reason why Trump even became president. Because we all know the popular vote is not what puts the president into office. The electoral college is what puts the
Mm-hmm.
president into office. And those electoral college folks, they're in secret societies. They deal in spiritualism. They deal in a lot of high sciences. So they seen the writing on the wall. So they had to put Trump into office because they know that that old paradigm that they was on is over with. It's over with, and
No,
you
at
know,
this point, it's just life support at this point.
oh yeah,
You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah,
And our people waking up is pulling the plug.
definitely. Since Trump been in
Mm.
office, what war has the United States been involved in? None, zero. You know, all these other presidents,
Yeah, but it's even beyond the presidents though, because it has nothing to do
right,
with them
facts,
either. You know what I mean?
facts,
They're just
yeah,
a piece on the board.
facts, yeah,
You know, just like you said, electoral college brings him in, so he ain't nobody then. There must be
exactly,
something higher than him. If
exactly,
he like all this voting for people or whatever like that, there has to be something else going on.
exactly, and that's
Has
that's
to
what
be
I
something else going on. You know what I
and
mean?
that's
Because
that's the case in point I was making, like with those European sons in the background. That's part of those electoral college. That's well studied in Islam. That's well studied in Sufism and a lot of different ancient Moorish spiritual schools
right,
of thought. And so they had to position their spokesman, which was the president. They had to position their spokesman for the corporation and in the path that would better suit. They couldn't go along with uh, those other representatives for the United States Corporation that were about world destruction. That were about globalism and world dominance.
hmm
Basically colonization. Because Trump, if you see what he stands for, he's not about colonization. And although he still got to play the games, that his overseers want him to play. But overall, like when the Moor really looks at it from a scientific lens, you'll see that everything is aligning itself back into righteousness. So if Moor is going to align themselves back into righteousness, they're set on a for sure path, very very quick path to destruction. So, and you see it happening as you speak, because all those dirty Moors who still trying to play those dirty tricks that think that it's going to keep, is going to be business as usual, they falling flat on their faces.
right.
Their whole scam, their whole thing they trying to set up, it don't even take off. It's within months or not even that where they fall flat on their face.
hmm
It's
Yep.
numerous of these so-called gurus and so-called spiritual leaders and so-called, which are all Moors who fall flat on their face because they're not aligning themselves with what the prophet laid down for us to save a nation, to save themselves and then the nation. And and that's why I'm so glad that I chose righteousness, because I once, like many other Moors, were blind and led a path of
Facts.
destruction, doing
Facts.
things that weren't suitable to themselves, to their families, to their bloodline, because they were still operating in a mind frame of the Negro, the mind
Mhm.
frame of a nigger, the mind frame of a black man,
Right.
and these things are attached with certain characteristics, certain behaviors, certain thought process, certain energy. So, with that being said, boys need to stick to the path of righteousness, because those that think that it's still going to be business as usual have another thing coming. They have a rude awakening, and it's not going to be something a karma that you're going to suffer with 20 years, 30 years, so you got some time to do whatever you want. No, it's going to be rapid and swift justice,
Islam. Bro Yusuf, you got anything to add?
No, the brother just nailed it right on that head. I
That's
was
what I'm
listening
saying.
to him, and he covered a lot of information. You know what I mean? I was just, every time he went to go say something, and I was about to add in, he'll back it, and I was like, see, I was going to say that. So he's covered it.
Islam.
He covered it. Islam.
That's studying.
So I would like to know, I would like for Grand Sheik, as he is called, Cujo Adwal El, to explain to the Moorish nation, why are there more and more of these First Nation people and people that are not in Moorish American national primogeniture status being the aboriginals of the land? Why are they coming to the consulate saying that they were either nationalized by you?
Right? And keep in mind, this is a lie, because there's no they. This is one guy on a reserve whose dad's on this info. His dad's on the info. His dad told him, talk to Brother Cujo. Right? We texting back and forth all the time. It's one individual. Now again, these people are realizing that their own chiefs sold them out. People who look just like them sold them out, which is why they're on a reserve where they don't have drinking water and all this stuff. Right? And then nothing's happening. Zero stuff is happening because all their chiefs sold out. And don't forget, Chief really came after Sheik. So you can know who the first sellout was. So you're not looking at these guys as if they did something great. No, the Dirty Moors on our side did something great. Great and terrible. Right? These people are realizing that, hold on a second, by you calling us Indian, you're putting us in a jurisdiction where we don't have any say. So hell no, I don't want to do this Canadian, Indian, native, whatever anymore. They're waking up. But it has to be their own that puts them on. And trust me, the native guy went to all the chiefs and went to all the people in there, and they're not having it. So he's like, I'm going to just use this and save myself and my family then, if nobody else wants this. Which is why he sent his son to talk to me. Because it ain't nothing that we have to do. Give them the info. They're going to go tell their people what they got to tell them. They'll do what they want with it. They did that and realized they're sellouts among their stuff. So instead of me playing around with getting with these people and working with these people, when all they're going to do is try to put me back under the Indian stuff, I'm just going to be over here studying what I have to study, right? You study what I have to study and save my family. And we got one in the, there's somebody on here. Let's see what they have to say. Islam, oh, and then they ran away. That was fast. See how fast the trolls do? As soon as you put them on, they're running. As soon as you put them on, they're running. All right, so that's why the Native Americans or whatever like that are coming to the Moors, because they know we're the ones who got the info. Their chiefs already sold them out and all that stuff, so ain't nowhere else for them to get the info but from the Moors, who are the primogenitor, big brother, that they know that Moors are big brother. Like they know that we're the real indigenous people. They know this. Let's see what's going on here. Swindle, you're on.
Hey, what's up?
I don't know, you called us.
Hey, quick question for you. Why? Hold on a minute.
You nervous?
No,
nervous.
no, I'm not nervous. I just had to mute my YouTube because I was getting some feedback.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. So you mentioned the consulate. I just have a question. What country backs the consulate?
Why don't you ask them?
Somebody mentioned that. I was just listening to your feed here, and just like
No, but why don't you ask them? Why are you asking us about the consulate? We're not consulate.
Somebody mentioned the consulate, and I'm just asking just a simple question. What country backs the consulate?
No, I don't know. Ask the consulate, because we're not the consulate. You're asking the wrong people your question.
Okay, because I've asked the consulate and they have no answer either. But
Okay,
I just
so that should tell you something.
Yeah. So one other question, and I'll leave you alone and back to listening. Do you believe in the ways of Light Tajiri Bay, what she is doing?
Light Tajiri Bay is consulate, and we're not consulate.
Okay. Yeah. Do you agree with what she does?
We're not consulate. So just like we're not Walmart, and we can't answer any questions to you about Walmart. There's nothing for me to say with regard to Light Tajiri Bay, because they're consulate and we're not consulate.
But you're all Moors, right?
No, well, there's dirty Moors and then there's righteous Moors. We're righteous Moors. What dirty Moors?
So you're saying that Light Tajiri Bay is a dirty Moor?
I would look at it probably like that, because if we're righteous and she's not around us, then obviously she's not righteous, because I don't know her. I never had no conversations with her, and I really don't know what they're about. I know what I'm about. I know about the Moors who are on the same mindset as I'm at. I know what they're about. But for those Moors that you're talking about, we call those Moors dirty Moors.
Okay.
So we don't want the blending of the Moorish thing, because you see them with fezzes and you see us with fezzes and you think that we're down with them. It's not really like that. It's put out like that, but it's not really like that, because there's some people who we seen you go at these people, same people who we say are dirty Moors. But just like the black identity extremists that the FBI put out, they even recognize that not all Moors are the sovereign citizen Moors that we're looking at to go after. There's
that's what I understand. Yes.
There's some Moors who are actually righteous, who are the real Moors, that are return of the Moors of ancient times, who everybody loved and adored. It's just they're here in 2020 now.
Yeah, right now within my investigations of all, there's like 30 different factions of them.
Right.
From C. Cannon Bay, who claims to be the president of the United States of America Republic.
Yeah, he's another dirty Moor. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, to Pauline Ritchie Moore, aka Light Tajiri Bay.
Yep, another dirty Moor. Go ahead.
Yeah, Taj Tariq Bey, who has his hands in a few different things.
Okay, well, we'll stop there. So we'll take Taj and we're gonna put him somewhere else while you go through the names. But we're not going to put him on the side with like Tajiri Bay and Cannon Bay and them. He's going to go into a different folder.
But he's the top dog of the Moorish American Consulate.
Well, not necessarily. That's why I said that we'll put him up there. I just want to hear who else you have on your list, but we'll just put him up there in a different folder, but a separate folder.
I'm finding for dirty Moors and stuff like that. But here's another thing. If you look back at C.M. Bay's Zodiac Constitution when he first did that up,
yeah,
there's a Taj Tariq Bey on there also.
Yeah.
And that's not to be confused with this Taj Tariq Bey. Two different people. If that Taj Tariq Bey that was on CM Bay's Zodiac Constitution, that put this.
That was the reason why that was there was because there was an intro, there was a prelude to the Zodiac Constitution that Taj Tariq Bey wrote. So that's what that was, but that's not connected to CM Bay's stuff. CM Bay's thing is separate.
Okay. Then there's what's his name there in New Jersey? I can't think of Vladimir.
Nature El Bay.
Oh, Nature El Bay. Yeah, I've him.
So that's another one that we'll put in a separate folder.
Yeah.
From the Dirty Moors, right? We'll put them separate. Right?
Jamal Latimer or Jamal Abdullah Bey. He's from
Rise of the Moors. Yeah, we'll take them too, and we'll put them in a separate thing. But we're not putting them with Taj and them, and then we're not putting them with Tajiri Light and them.
Yeah. And
right?
here I'm going to throw an old name out.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Ernest Walker Bey.
I don't know who Ernest Walker Bey is. Never heard that name ever.
Oh, you need to check in on him too. So, he would be a dirty. He'd be a dirty Moor too.
Right. So you see that there's categorization.
Yeah.
Right. You can't just say all across the board, all these Moors, and then you're making little videos as if you're calling out the Moors. You're actually only calling.
No, I'm not calling out all Moors. If you look in the description of my in my videos, it's just I'm not going after the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Yeah, no, I'm just putting that out there so that it could be understood by other people who watch this, that you know that there's a difference between the scammer Moors and then the Moors who are upright, independent, fearless, and do the things
and law abiding.
Right.
Yeah. And I've talked to two different grand sheiks of two different temples, one in Chicago and one in New Jersey. I've got them on my speed dial on my phone. If I ever have questions, I call and ask them, and they've been really nice. And the amount of information that I've got from them is quite powerful. And I've actually been invited to go to the one in New Jersey, and I may take that offer up, just as a guest.
Oh, someone in the chat was asking, "What's your nationality?"
See, here's what I've got from. Let me explain what my understanding from nationality is from the Moorish Science Temple of America. And basically, it's religion. That's what one of the grand sheiks was telling me.
Excuse me, sir. This is Kasir Rajal. That's not correct. If you're going to talk about the Moorish Science Temple of America when it comes to nationality, we separate nationality from the religious stance. The religious stance would be the divine creed. The nationality would be our national stance. So again, like, what would your national stance be? I know you're in America, but what nation in America do you cling back to? Or is it a state that you cling back to?
I'm an American citizen. That's what on my passport it says United States of America.
Now wait. No, with American citizen.
That's different than American citizen. So
American citizen, you have to name a state of America, but not in the United States.
Like a Brazilian is an American citizen.
Right.
But we know you're not Brazilian. So
definitely not Brazilian.
Yeah. So that's what we're saying.
Where I reside is in the state of Vermont.
Okay,
so that's the state. Would your
So,
blood go
so you're
back before
You're
that was
Vermontian.
incorporated?
Yes.
You're Vermontian.
Yeah.
All right. So being Vermontian, you know that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, right?
Yes. Of the United States, not for.
Okay.
Wait,
So
that's not right. That's actually wrong because you're confused with the organic Constitution of 1871 and the original Constitution. It was signed in 1787 and then ratified in 1791. So what we're asking you is, what nation do you cling to, not what colonial state or municipal corporation that is today called a state. What nation do you cling to before that became a colony?
like, who's your great 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 grandma? Where's she from?
Exactly.
My great great grandmother is a Native American or a Native Canadian from the Nova Scotia area. I cannot pronounce the name because it's a tongue twister. But
Now, tongue
my great
twisters,
grandmother
we can't have
is.
tongue twisters when it comes to our culture. We must learn those things because, like, okay, let's use me as an example. Let's say my great grandmother was she was German, right? Then I would have to learn the language in German to properly codify who she is, name wise, religious wise, culture wise. Otherwise, I'm just putting her in a new category of English, which is a different nationality.
I just have a hard time pronouncing the name of the Indian it's in Nova Scotia.
You sure she would have been an Indian? Because we have records of before there were Indians in Delaware, the Delaware Code 29. They actually recognized as Moors from the 1700s before.
Oh, this goes back a little further. We've done research on her, and it goes back quite a far.
Let's go
It
back to
goes
the 1600s. Because the
goes
1600s.
back before that too.
Let's go back to the 1100s. You want to go back to 1100s?
That's didn't get back that far.
Okay, it doesn't go back that far.
That's we haven't got back that far.
Okay, because if I go back to the 1100s, we got the Vikings, which is just that's a codification of the 6 kings from the Latin areas, which would be ancient Britain. And when it was Britain, it was the ancient name for Britain was Breton or Bretagne, and that goes back to so-called Indians and Hindustan. So, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand that exact bloodline, but you would have to do more research as far as tying them into so-called Pakistan or India or Hindustan, other than Nova Scotia, because that's all new. That's a new Siberian migration theory. But your people would have more origin in so-called Hindustan, based off the British East India Company. You can study that though, but in Nova Scotia, that goes back to the people that we would call Scottish. They and all from the Scotland areas, they all came over closer to the west after the wars went down that shut down who you would call the Vikings. So if you study Vikings, the Druids of the Celts, you can find your people like quick. Now,
What was it?
When it comes to who we are, that's why we are so against going to clinging ourselves to states and all that, because we know that's preferably recent when it comes to our family lines and how long our lineage goes. Because see how you go back to 1100, we easily could tie our bloodline back to 1000 BC in this land, and those documents and that type of information, it hasn't even been put forth, by academia yet. They're waiting on us to say who we are so they can have a history of a people to hold on to. But a lot of our people are calling ourselves color still, and you see that what they're trying to do is stop our movement from becoming a people, and they're putting it in a codifications like Consular Court or the sovereign citizens. Those are all falsehoods and all what you would call they're the things that were created to hide people on what we're doing. Notice how you named all those Moors, but then when you come over to our page, clarification. clear?
You there, Swindle?
Islam.
He's clear?
I think Swindle left.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
he
going to
probably.
ask Swindle a question.
Yeah, I don't think Swindle's there. We'll remove Swindle for now because we need no time wasting.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't worry about
I wanted
Swindle.
to
Swindle
ask.
got his answer because they're confused because they're looking at all the Moors as whatever, and then they find all these clown, dirty Moors, and they're trying to lump everybody in as if we're all Moors. No, we're not like that. From that perspective, no, that's wrong.
Because
We're not
Cujo,
all
I
Moors
peep his
like
game.
that.
This guy came in here and was trying to tie us into being council of court members and members of other
Exactly.
groups that are
Right,
doing other
right,
things. We are doing one
exactly.
thing, and that's clearing off the
Exactly.
confusion of those other groups. So when he comes in
Yeah.
here, see, that's
Exactly.
police activity right there. Those
It's
are
something.
police activities.
It's something.
Exactly.
It's something.
I've been
Like,
Exactly.
you already
studying
know.
COINTELPRO and military tactics
You
all
already
week,
know
and
it's
he
something.
comes in with that. Well, good thing I had my Black Soul dictionary right there.
Because the amount of videos
And
they
I
got
wanted to ask
talking
him,
crazy about Moors.
Islam Grand Sheik,
Islam.
I wanted to ask Swindle before he got off what part of Europe his family comes from, if you knew. So
Yeah,
that
that's
way,
it.
we could identify even further
Yeah.
what noble family of Moors was his family under.
But you see, he was dodging but
Yep,
once
yep.
you go there, once you go there, you're done.
I can't believe he actually said Native Canadian American. Is that what he said? Oh my God.
He up here playing. I just studied that. See, he's trying to connect to the migration, the American migration, but that's a falsehood. That's a following the out of Africa theory. It's like the second part of it. Well, who came to America? Well, the first people to discover America were Siberians. Why ain't this called the United States of Siberia?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So because
Playing
bloodlines and
games.
family lines don't just leave when you leave your land; they go with you. That's what the point of it being blood is.
Yeah.
So if we Moors from no matter where we were, I like to go with the term that we were Moors from here first. But even if you want to do the North African people, when they left North Africa with their Moorish ancestry, when they got here, what do you think they start calling themselves? American? No, they were Moors. They didn't even have that word yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this would have just been Mauritania, Tingitanus.
And
And
then
notice
also
when
just to
go ahead,
address
Grinch.
that certain people had their opportunity to be on our live or whatever. And based on the last time, you're not getting to talk here. You're just gonna sit in the back thing, and we're just gonna look at you, make faces, and do your dumb stuff. Because we already know where you're on. We already know what you're on.
You don't get to talk because he's going to put
You're not
colored
getting no
information into our
talk.
people's minds.
You lost your chance.
Yep.
You stay there in the corner. You stay in the chat corner.
I wish we had a dunce cap for the class, like for people who come into class to put the dunce cap on them while they sit in the corner.
Yeah.
Get this national work. But Islam Moors, I was out here working on this garden, but I'm gonna get back to work. I'm to the class.
All right, boy.
Islam Moors. Peace and love.
Islam Grand Sheik.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, and you notice when the last one that just left the chat was questioning, well, not questioning, but explaining and clarifying to that Swindle. I mean, just looking at that name itself, that Swindle, whatever it's like, that raised a red flag. Amongst everywhere where he was jumping around, he went from Native Canadian American to U.S. citizen to this and that. I'm like,
around crazy.
Jumping around. Yeah, and then trying to get you, and you notice his tactic was trying to get you to attach us to them, those dirty Moors.
Yeah,
he knew they were dirty Moors.
Like,
he knew. He most likely he's their handlers. Most likely he's a handler for them.
Somebody with something's going on because I seen some videos from them, Swindle and them people, right? Mm-hmm. And they're about exposing dirty Moors. Like really and truly, that's what their thing is. But their thing is they just loop it all together. And any more that they pick up, they're saying, "Oh, he said something weird, so that he means he's there." Oh no, not necessarily, not
Exactly.
necessarily,
That
because
sound like straight up FBI.
there's people who they're looking at as being tied together because they might have seen a picture of them standing next to each other, but they're not together like that.
Exactly. That sound
You
like
just seen a
straight up
picture online,
COINTELPRO.
and you thought that they're part of the same thing. No, no, it's way
Yeah,
deeper than that. Way deeper than that.
exactly. And that's what COINTELPRO does. They try to seem like uh they're part of the cause. They're trying to help or they're doing something positive. But once you see the tactics, then you understand that okay, we know exactly what they're doing. This is how you conquer and divide. This is how you try to infiltrate. As I come in peace. You know how they always show you those movies when the European comes to your land and say, "I come in peace," but
Mm-hmm.
under the cross, they got a big old the cross that they're bearing is really a sword, and
Yeah,
the crew, the people that are part of their religious organization or group, or what they call them missions. Don't they call them like mission, or the church goes on a mission? The people that's part of the mission are really soldiers. You know what I mean? So this what they do, but they dress
right.
as religious figures. They dress as bishops. They dress as pastors. They come as people part of some peaceful organization. But really, they're there to collect intel and infiltrate and divide from within. So that way, when they got everybody tied up into what they need to do, then they strike. The last
Mm-hmm.
part of operations strikes and to bring us down.
Yeah, straight up.
Or had papers witnessed by you. And right after they talk about the witnessing of their nationality papers by you, the first question they're asking, so how can we do the allodial land repossession or allodial land claims, right? Because for the Aboriginals, we already know the land is ours. They're trying to get in.
No, they're trying to get off the damn reserve because they don't deserve to be in slavery either. They're trying to be free just like we're trying to be free, but they're under some contracts, treaties that their chiefs made with these coloners. These common folk who just came over here, just sailing on a boat, just came over here, who are really all the criminals and whatever from these places, did some dummy treaties with some fake Indians. Because these people knew that there were stone structures here, not no grass stuff. No Indians over here built any stone structure, anything. Everybody knows bear hide and hide of this and hide of that. What they use. Don't do stone stuff. They do logs and leaves. They have a right to a nationality too, because they've been played by their own. Didn't tell them about nationality. We're telling them about indigenous rights of this and that, but they got cards from the European saying that they're Indian. And then they realize the game. And then the chiefs are pretending like, what game are you talking about? We don't know what you're talking about. This is, what treaty? These people sold out their own. And now they're realizing it. And they're talking up about it. And they're trying to get their way out of the mess that their chiefs got them in. And you're talking about, no, don't help them. They're Asiatic. They came over here from the Bering Strait, the ice bridge. They're from Asia. If they're from Asia, they're Asiatic. Just go check the record. How come there was Arabs and Chinese and Japanese and all these people down with the Moorish Science Temple? Because they're Asiatic or they're Muslim. Either way, they're part of this. But look at these traders trying to tell people who are of Asiatic descent, who are Muslim and all that, that they can't know about their connection to the birthright. They just gotta be stuck with being on the reserve. And these people just encroaching on their land to put pipes and all this. Because even though we're the heirs to this vast estate called the planet, there's enough room for everybody. There's enough room for everybody. Right? There's more than enough room for everybody. And we have an obligation as Moors to uplift fallen humanity. You think some people living on a reserve aren't fallen humanity and they don't deserve to get this knowledge too? You think they don't deserve the Quran? Instead of drink a bottle, read a page of your Quran. That your prophet, your Cherokee prophet that none of these people told you about, brought you some knowledge to save you from these same traders call themselves chiefs and all that right now. They can have their birthright though, but you can have yours to where you can use your own delegation of authority and make some passports. But these Moors who are on reserve, they can't be free. They can't be free because the guy in China selling some stuff said so. Yeah, right.
Because they know that they are not the aboriginals of the land. And as history has shown before, there's always some of our own that sell us out. So now, while I'm being called an untrustworthy Moor or a bad Moor by his camp.
First of all, there ain't no camps over here. He's talking about one individual. There's no my camp is talking some certain way against what he's saying and trying to stop. No. It's one individual message them. Because they had sent us paperwork that came from the Moorish Consulate. How you know that? Because it had the Moorish Consulate header on the paper. So we sent it back. And they're like, why you send it back? Like, well, because we're not consulate. Like, what do you mean? I thought all you guys are the same. Aren't you all Moors? No, we're not all Moors. Some of these Moors are traders. And these traders who you're using their paperwork to free yourself, that you want us to put our signature on it and put our seal on it. No, we're not doing that. So here's the stuff back. Go correct yourself and then try again. Because we don't play with the consulate. We have nothing to do with the consulate. We have zero to do with the Moorish American consulate and their Moorish American travel document. Zero. If anybody sends us stuff relative to that, we send it back and we let them know, hey, we're not them. Send your stuff to them. Don't be sending it to us. We're not them. We only get mail for our stuff that we issue.
This is the kind of information that's coming back to us at the consulate. And it makes me wonder why.
Yeah, remember, it's information from one individual. 2 people tops. There's not droves of people that are calling them to tell them that Cujo said that we should do whatever. No, there's not. It's probably one or two people. But these people like to exaggerate stuff because they have nothing. So they have to trump up some type of energy to make this seem like it's something because they have to sell their little stuff. Right? No different than when you watch your reality TV shows and all that stuff and they lead you to the climax. They're leading to the climax. The climax is buy this thing from us. That's the climax. And they're going to do anything on their way to getting you the climax. Because once you're at climax, you'll do anything. Because you'll think that they gave you something when they really just touch you in the right spot and made you feel good. They didn't give you jack. Give you nothing. And then they come back to us after they go to them. They come back to us now and tell us all the slanderous stuff that these people said. And then when we put it out, oh yeah, we're the ones that's the problem. Well, we the problem. Like we say, we can at least go back to 2008. If you weren't around in 2008, then there's no reason for me to take you serious. You prove yourself to me because I already know what the standard is. Right? We come from the generation of Moors that when they have courts closed. Those are the Moors that we rode with. Those are the Moors that brought us into this. That when they have courts closed. Nobody has court when the Moors have court. To the point where they just stop giving Moors tickets because they can't win. And if a Moor did get a ticket, on that day, court's closed. So we're not saying there's this side and that side. No. We know for a fact that there's a way that this runs since 2008 and there's been no issues with this. Now, all these different people are contacting us because like we say, we have a phone number that we get messages on. We have email that we get messages on. And then we have people who might just be in the chat. Right? We had somebody yesterday who's probably on this. Just yesterday, they got told, pump your brakes. Let me just talk to somebody else first. Before you go pay $3,000 for some Moorish paperwork. Let me just talk to somebody. Because what you're telling me right now, and I'm not even on Moorish whatever, but you're telling me you're about to pay $3,000 for some papers? Let me call a Moor I know first, and then I'm going to get back to you on if that's how you should do this, because something seems wrong with this. This is just somebody who's, they just know somebody who's looking to find themselves. They're just trying to find themselves. They're not trying to spend goddamn $3,000 to get some papers. They just want to know the truth about their birthrights. They found out they're a Moor. They never heard that before. So they're intrigued because it's something they never heard before. And what they're bumping into is somebody telling them $3,000 for them to be a Moor. That's treason. And like we say, we can't send out the muftis who want to go out. We can't send them out because these ones have families and stuff like that, children that love them. So it's better for you to be home. Right? Let this thing handle itself because it will. Right? because it will. And it's going to even out when people start thinking. People start studying and not just jumping at the gun because somebody put out some panicking stuff to you, have you thinking, hey, oh my God, I need to do this right now type of thing, and then they got you for $5 grand. Right? Yeah, and if they're paying, they're getting played, because $3 grand is not what this is about. That's not what this is about. Right? Yeah, Juali told you, pain is a good teacher. There's some pain, but our people even get the pain and still don't learn. So you got work to do.
Is he so against the consulate that was started by Taj Tariq Bey? Why is he so against the consulate when the consulate is merely backing Article 3 of the American Constitution? It's simply because you have Moors out here that want to be lawless, and they want to be able to do things by way of not having any delegation of authority, right? The consulate is here as a protection mechanism for the Moors.
So if they're here as a protection mechanism for the Moors, why they selling stuff? Like why are you selling stuff? Just do the protection. And if you can't even protect your own consular general that she got kidnapped on live class or whatever by some Europeans, then don't tell me that you could save me. The hell out of here. Don't tell me you can protect me when Tracy Gale, your consular lady, got kidnapped on live class. Not only did she get kidnapped, but to get her out, you guys had to pay bond. Instead of you doing your extraction, whatever that the consulate's supposed to do, which is your function. She had a dispute with these Europeans. Where was the consular court at? Nowhere to be found. And we're supposed to go get some documents from you people? People have batteries stringed up in the back of their house trying to do some BS or whatever like that. And we're supposed to be riding with you people. Co-consular general could leave. Co-consular general could leave. Leave the consulate. Abandon the post. Abandon the post. Look up abandon in the law dictionary. The co-consular general abandoned the post, and then the consulate doesn't say a word about it. Nothing. This guy's been the face of your stuff for the past year. He just disappears and nobody has any questions. Everybody just turned their head to the other picture. Taj Tariq Bey's face is on there. So, okay, well, anything he says, we're just going to listen to that. You weren't listening to that because of consulate before consulate. You were listening to that because the brother had information. So how is it that consulate becomes this focal point direction thing that you're looking at on the wall when you have a whole 80-foot by 80-foot picture? You're looking at a corner of this thing and trying to pretend like that's really what this thing is about. It's not about taking a step back and seeing the bigger picture. We know for a fact that the consulate or the consular whatever that they want to push as some whatever, right? We know for a fact that they're using Taj Tariq Bey's name. Because these people aren't about the people. If they're about the people, they would just be taking names and just giving away the damn passports if they work like that. What do you need? What do you need 150 for? To do what? You're obviously making them in bulk. Because you just laying down in a stack of the stuff. So obviously you can get these easy. You should just be getting more mailing locations and just sending those out. If it works like that. Don't be charging people knowing that the stuff works like that. It works that well and you're using that as a carrot on people. And then always throwing somebody's name in there that we call master teacher as if we ride their dick or something like that. Like I could count the number of times on my hands that I called Taj Tariq Bey, and I had his number for years. I can count on my hands the amount of times that I spoke with Ras Mariah Bey on the phone. I can count on my hands how many times I spoke to Hakeem Bey on the phone or Aleem Bey on the phone. Or anybody that you consider somebody out there that somebody was talking to. Other than, yo, hey, how you doing? Just checking to see if you're good. Everything's good. Islam, that's that. I need them for. Priesthood is dead. Priesthood is dead. Their master teacher. Or their ascended master. Which we don't chase people. We don't ride dicks. We study. We take the reference points that we were given from the master teachers and we expound on those with critical analysis, even though it came from the master teachers. So when they start bringing up people's names and stuff like that, we already know that these people are trying to play games. We already know they're trying to play games. Because certain people's name don't even need to come up. But you want to bring up their name, yeah, big deal, right? When we were at North Carolina, Aleem Bey, Taj Tariq Bey, Kudro El Setenra Bey, right? When we were at North Carolina for a lecture, all four of us on the same stage lecturing. When the nighttime came, I went to my bed. These Moors up watching the fight all night. They weren't sitting down around Black's Law dictionaries and studying and all this BS. So you think that Moors can't sit back and relax for a bit? That's what this is about. Allah doesn't respect stations. You think these Moors were over here, they had a law dictionary around them and they started until 6 in the morning after we just did a lecture for 6 hours? No. Don't fall for the illusion. Like Moors don't go take a shit or whatever. Stop the BS. They ain't studying all the time like that. Stop it. The life is going on. Yeah, it ain't like that. You have audio books and all that stuff. Eventually, battery is gonna die. Like there's gonna be a point where you're not studying. So don't play the dumb stuff. People playing games with you, and then we're doing our best to try to free the people. Then when the people realize the fraud that's going on, then the fraud people are coming out talking crazy, putting people's name in stuff like they have something to do with me. You know, Taj Tariq Bey on the phone when you and I were on the phone. He wasn't there. He wasn't on the phone. RVBA Publications wasn't on the phone when you and I had the conversation. And the conversation was, are you consular court? That's no, well, we're doing these MATDs for the Moors, and yeah, but are you consular court though? Because when I checked the, you know what I mean, like you're on the consular court website, but then you're saying MATD, which I don't see that on the consular court. They're talking about travel document, but like, so is it your own thing? Is it their thing? And if it, you know what's going on? Okay, we'll do it for 70. Because, you know, the whole play was that, well, if we get with you, we got 50 members. So, you know what I mean? Like, we got 50 members, then we want to do bulk order. Like, we're not paying what everybody else is paying. Why are we paying what everybody else is paying? We're bringing you 50 people that they're going to get their documents. Oh, all right, yeah, well, we could do 70. That's birthrights? Islam, brother Yusuf, you there? You still there or not? You might be muted. He's probably doing something.
Right? It is the consulate's delegation of authority that can stop outsiders from retaking your estate all over again. But
so you're not going to do nothing about the insiders that's selling out our estate? So how are you looking at the outside people that are trying to steal our estate, but you don't want to deal with the inside people who want to steal it? Oh yeah, because they're them. These are the inside people jacking your estate, having you think that you have to be part of some club that they call Moorish Consulate Club, and then once you're part of that, then you're, because they have Taj Tariq Bey's picture up there, so that means they're the most legit Moors out here for doing something. What? Who are you people? Where were you guys in 2008? That's why I told the boy when he was asking the question. I was like, take Taj, put him over there, because he's not even in the conversation. He's disqualified from being in the conversation because he's been here before everybody talking about we're Moors. So certain people aren't even supposed to be in the conversation. They're exempt from being talked about. But people know that you bring up certain names and then they're going to get their little views or get their little membership or get their little club stuff or whatever. And that's not what this is about. This is about people learning. This is about people coming into the knowledge of themselves. That's what this is about. This is about people learning the truth about their nationality and their birthrights. People knowing that they're not Negro, black, colored. Finding out the truth about that. Not somebody dangling a carrot over them for them to get that. This is supposed to be free. But they don't want to do it that way. They want to use Noble Drew Ali's name and throw little things out there because they know that people aren't studying. They know people aren't studying. And people who don't study get taken advantage of. And then when they get taken advantage of, they're not doing anything with regard to these traders who robbed them or whatever. They're just going to say, forget this Moorish thing. This Moorish thing is so much confusion in this Moorish thing, as if you went to a right source in the first place. You didn't go to a right source. You were off from the time you paid the $3 grand.
These kind of Moors, they don't want anything to do with the consulate because the consulate can come down on them with delegation of authority to.
And consulate ain't coming down and jam anybody. Consulate couldn't even come down on the highwayman that kidnapped Tracy Gale Bay.
He's in China.
Delegation of authority. What you say, boy?
I said, forgive me, man. She got me to cut you with them.
Oh, no, go ahead, boy.
No, he was just talking about the delegation of authority. And I'm like, this coming from the guy who's all the way in so-called China. He's speaking of delegating. Because let's not forget that. He's not even here. He's not here. He's in so-called China talking crazy like this. Because he's not over there exercising any of this. He's playing those games over here where he's not even at. Sorry, she got in because you was going in.
Well, it's all good work.
Aid in stopping what they're doing, right? So, for someone like that to promote that they are the good ones, but other people are dirty Moors, right? Which there are people that are probably calling me everything under the sun because of him, and I haven't done anything to anyone, right? They don't know me.
No, they don't have to know you. You're Moorish Consulate. And I know that some people running that who are not Moors, who at least been around since 2008, that's some BS. That's some experiment. That's not a real thing. That's an experiment. Or that's some feel good that a master teacher is given to some people because, you know, he knows that they're not really about this. We're playing games. They're playing games. And I recognize that once I'm doing this for the people, I'm good. Once I'm doing this to assist the people, I'm good. Because it's really only about being good with Allah and the Prophet, for real. Whatever else anybody else think, that's on them to think that. They're entitled to their opinion. But, you know, like you say, real recognize real. Real also recognize fake. And this is the thing. They pop up. Every 3 or 4 years, they pop up. Right? But who? When 20 whatever comes around, who's going to be left standing? The active Moors. That's the ones who's going to be recognized as being for the nation. Not the package seller people. Not the people who you went and just bought their thing because you thought they had something for you. You're being played by your own.
Been abroad for over a decade. I produce good work. I don't lie to people. I'm trustworthy. But yet I'm looked at with scorn because of slander, right? From his camp. But all the while, right? They are the good ones. But other people are dirty Moors, right? Which there are people that are probably calling me everything under the sun because of him. And I haven't done anything to anyone, right? They don't know me. I've been abroad for over a decade.
Exactly. And we don't know you. And we find it really funny that you're making these documents. You're in China, you're nowhere here, but you're making documents for people here. And you're not even here. Something's wrong with that. On top of that, your little business plea right now about you make good product and all this. So you're out of his own mouth, he's telling you that this is birthrights, theft. Not the stuff that the Indian guys are doing trying to get off the reserve. That's not the birthright theft. The birthright theft is what these people are doing to you right now. Telling you we got the best looking document, so this is gonna free you. When what the master teacher say? What the co-consulate general of the Moorish consulate say? Taj Street Bay. The co-consulate general said, you can put your nationality on a piece of used toilet paper.
Yeah.
But Yusuf, am I lying? Because they're gonna because Taj didn't say that. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Right.
That was one of the things that woke me up when he said that. Opened my eyes even more. I was like, wait a minute. Okay.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Let's ask that. What do you get from that statement by the co-consular general of the Moorish American consulate? He made a statement in one of his lectures. You could put your nationality on a piece of used toilet paper. What do you get from that?
First, that it's not about clubism, and most importantly, that it was about it's your bloodline, who you are. It's about you, back to your consanguinity, and you know, because you used to have classes. We used to talk about this all the time in all the movies. It's always to show you that it was you the whole time. It's you. It's you, the individual. It's you, your mindset. It's you. Like when Into the Dragon, or what is it? Bruce Leroy. When he finally realized it was him the whole time. It was you. The used piece of paper, used toilet paper. It's you the whole time. It's your mindset. Because say you don't have no paper. Say you don't have no used toilet paper. What are you gonna do then? You know, say Katrina comes and just wipes out everybody's paperwork. What do we do? What do we do now?
We're not Moors.
Everybody.
We're not Moors.
Exactly. That's what I got from the used toilet paper, because I was like, well, if everything gets damaged, where do we go from there? Exactly. You better know it.
Please, brother Razim, you got something on that one? The used toilet paper?
Islam. Yeah. You can hear me good?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to comment on that. Yeah, when I heard Todd say that for the first time, man, and it was many years when I seen that too. And oh man, it hit me like a ton of bricks, man. Just understanding the power of nationality, the power of birthright. And it's funny.
I'm breaking you up. Not hearing you.
Hello?
Not hearing you.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Try again. Nothing came through. Try again.
Wow. You know how to do. So yeah, from looking from the lens of
That's great.
they don't mention anything about Black African American, you know, and misnomer, different names. People try to classify or group us in to enslave us. It's funny that these people say Christians or Muslims or whatever they choose to identify themselves as. In all these holy books, and being a Moorish scientist, not just being a Moor, but a studied, disciplined Moorish scientist, um, you understand that uh, these books never mention anything of, misnomers and to
Yeah, you're breaking up too much here. We can't even hear. We can't even get what you're saying. Log out the thing and
hello.
try get back in again because it keeps cutting you off crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's nuts. They're going off. They're going off.
I produce good work. I don't lie to people. I'm trustworthy. But yet,
Right? All this is selling it because they know they're a fraud. They gotta sell it. They're trustworthy. They've been doing this. They got the picture of Taj Tariq Bey up there, so you can't say that this is not legit. You're right. You're right. Who you people think you are? Johnny come lately put Taj Tariq Bey's face up there. He mentions Moorish Consulate a few times in a lecture. These people ride with something as if it's something that hasn't been done before. Ask Mother Delilah, who nobody wants to bring up and nobody's not going to talk about or whatever like that. Because she was one of the first people with Moorish Consulate. We're not going to talk about that, because if you talk about that, then it means that this is not the first time that they're trying to do the consulate thing. Because it's not going to work, because Moors aren't committed like that. It's not going to work. And traders with commitment don't mean anything. Traders with commitment don't mean a damn thing. Right? Like, we're not hating on somebody or anything like that. Right? Right? It's not that they don't know what they're doing. I tell you, these people know what they're doing. They know where to go, where not to go. Right? They know where to go, they know where not to go. Right? They're making special guest appearance. They're making special guest appearance from China to tell Moors in America how they're supposed to be. You're in China. What are you telling me about what I'm supposed to be over here? How? Moors not going to let the foreign European run their stuff, but you're going to let foreign Chinaman run your stuff. China annex some more. China's not even Africa. These people don't even know geography, but they're going to make you documents. These people don't know basic geography. They're telling you China's Africa when they say China a maxim. This is the Moorish Consulate we're talking about. And they're going to throw out people's name that's their code, whatever, and all that. Also, your code guy said study. And then when we study, we're looking at you on your website saying that you're the consul for China a maxim. A maxim, Noble Drew Ali taught us, is the original name of Africa. China's not Africa. So how do you get China a maxim? And this is supposed to be the Moorish consulate that the world recognizes them or whatever. They don't even know geography. They don't even know basic geography. They're calling China Africa. How are they calling China Africa? But then they're mad that the Chinese are going into Africa and running stuff there. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You have to share. It's a whole cake. You have to share. You're not keeping it all for yourself. You're lucky if you get a slice after you pull some BS like that. Lucky if you get a slice. So people want to hear what they want to hear. And we're not in that realm anymore. Maybe you just do what you want, say what you want to say. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You disrespected enough ancestors that came and told you that you're Moors. For you to be paraded around or still want to debate stuff, still. Were you still debating? What are you debating? We need some Moorish consulate to do something. Moorish consulate is calling China a maxim. If that doesn't prove incompetence to you, then you're incompetent. Forget them. Now we're looking at you funny. Just like how we look at the people who want to say that they're black. How are you saying that you're black, you're brown? What are you talking about? You're not even making sense right now. But you want people to go with the nonsense? Well, then they're going to go with it because the nonsense is only going to be perpetuated amongst themselves. It's not going to transfer to anybody else. It's not COVID. Right? These are the guys who are getting the interviews. The consular court guys.
What is that?
Yeah. Not to cut you off, friend. I apologize. I just want to say welcome to our brother Sharif Nine Feathers Bay. He's finally here with us, and I just wanted to say welcome to him, and we're glad he could be here with us.
Peace to Islam, bro. Islam. Big piece from the East Gate, Cathay territory. How's everything? Noble Oliver, Bay. Everything's well?
Everything, all is well, brother. All is well. You're right on time.
Yeah, man. I'm Islam. I barely have enough time to even eat. I was sitting up having a late lunch. But it's all good. Hope it's not too much noise in the background. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise in the background, a lot of music and stuff.
Yeah, let me you know what? Let me try to get to another spot right quick. Hold on.
Okay.
我现在去另外一个地方，去一个地方比较安静，然后再回来。你可以发信息给我就行了。I'm back.
Brother, speak
speaking Chinese over there.
Right? No, don't get nuts, because Brother Sheldon speaks German. So what do you mean the more knows a different language is some spectacular stuff? He's been there for 10 years. He better know how to speak the language. He's been there for 10 years. You're not being there for 10 years and then you don't know the language. Again, we'll put the clean glass next to the dirty glass. Let's use German, for example. We know more. Brother Sheldon, he knows German. I didn't hear nobody run up to him and tell him, oh, wow, that's spectacular. You know German. Wow, black guy knows German. Oh, woo. He didn't get the hoopla. How come? Why is only the side that's play the game with the birthright is allowed to play hoopla because they know some language? Obviously, people over here not hearing that, they're gonna be, oh, wow, that's interesting. But it goes the same for German. Stop playing. You're being distracted from the point. This is all part of the carrots. You don't get it yet? Let me tell you. We say trolls and all that stuff, but we know these people are finesse masters. We know they know what they're doing, saying what they're saying. We know this. That's why we stick to rvbaypublications.com and we don't move from there. Because that's who's been around the longest. And we were trying to find something Moorish and can't find anything. All you find is Indian stuff tying ourselves to. And we found that RV Bay Publications. It was heaven's gates opening. Because there's finally a place where everything is Moorish. Everything is what we have to know. No fat. Like everything is what exactly you needed to know for whatever it was you were dealing with. There was the answer there. Still is like that today. And these Johnny-come-latelys, are going to be playing games with our people's birthright when they're not even in the jurisdiction that you are. Which just blows. That's a eureka moment one of incompetence. I never knew our people fell this low.
Yeah,
I speak.
that's the brother.
Yeah, I speak.
See, and with that, I yield the floor.
This has been a project that I came up with. I first had the idea about 4 years ago, and I came up with several prototypes before narrowing down the current one that I have now. And it's been a rough ride, but this is something that is needed for us to be able to showcase our nationality to the world. And that is one of the reasons why the quality of the Mat D.
No. When somebody's telling you, showcase your nationality to the world, and then your prophet told you, stop flashing your cards at Europeans, you're causing confusion. Who are you riding with right now? Because there's only 2 lanes. There's only 2 lanes. Are you going with the individual who told you stop flashing your card at Europeans, you're causing confusion? Or are you riding with the people who are saying, let's showcase our Moorish nationality through this individual document by these individual Moors to showcase our vast nationality? That's who you're riding with. We'll see who you're riding with. That's all. That's all. You know what I mean? It's out their own mouth. You're going to showcase it, or you're going to not flash it and recognize what the true lesson is about nationality and birthrights. And time will tell that. So if you got questions, put them in the chat. Just put it in all caps. Because I'm pretty sure we made the point. If the point's not made, put your question in the chat, put it in all caps. So we're not chasing stuff. Oh, let me get Brother Razim in there. Islam more.
Islam, Grant.
Let's see how it goes now.
You can hear me good now?
Yeah, we can hear you, but you know it's after you start that's the problem.
It's funny too because I'm not even in my domicile right now.
The little laughs and the little chuckles are clear, like clear as a no clouds on a night. And
I swear.
Start talking, the freaking shit goes nuts. Nuts.
I swear, man. It's funny how it happens every time, man.
Yo, every time.
And it's funny because usually it happens in where I domicile in Miami, Florida. But right now I'm on the road because, you know, I'm a truck driver.
Yeah.
So I'm on the road and it's still happening. You know what I'm saying? It's like it doesn't fail. It doesn't fail. And I notice usually when Moors are, because these people, they know what they do with their devices. You know, they got
it's real. It's real. Like ample amount of Moors from all over. It's the same thing every time.
Yes.
Talking to anybody else, there's no issue. Everybody's connection is good. Shit is strong. You can hear clear. You can hear stuff in the background you're not supposed to hear.
I'm telling you, HD and everything, 1080p.
Right?
No interference.
More trying to build. It's not happening. It's not happening. They don't want
it. And I wanted to just drop something from the Holy Quran, divinely prepared by Prophet Noble Ali. From what I take from today's lesson, I'm really gonna dig into chapter 40 of the Circle 7, and chapter 40 deals with the instability of man, and I think that's a great chapter to really for Morris to go back and study, you know, as I'm doing myself, because I'm not gonna tell Morris to do something that I'm not doing myself, because that's not honorable. So definitely, that's what I take from today's lesson, is to go back and study chapter 40 of the Circle 7, which deals with instability of man, and it has everything laid out in there. What's afflicting these dirty Moors today, and if they go back and really read that, maybe they could get wisdom from it and redeem themselves from their dirty ways.
Right. That's the only savior they have. Repent. Come back home. Going back to question in the chat. I'm finding thyself, and I see many Moorish groups. How do you know the correct path? The correct path is the lessons, not who has the fanciest, whatever earthly thing you're looking for outside yourself that's gonna free you. Right? If you're finding thyself, then your Moorish nationality is going to be on the path of you finding yourself. It's going to be there. If it's already there, then the only place you should be at is rvbaypublications.com if you know you're not Negro, black, colored. And you're not going there for anything other than learning. You're not going there to buy stuff unless it's a book. You're not going there to pay for anything unless it's literature that's for your learning. Right? And trust me, from being on RVB Publications for years, I know that's where you're going to get the right information. Minus the confusion, minus the hoopla, minus the things that are going to distract you from the point that this is about you learning the truth about your nationality and your birthrights. I got mine. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm on high land. I'm not worried about tsunami. Right? But if I have to use the bullhorn to talk to those people down there that, hey, you might want to get some high land, you know, they're going to do what they want to do. Right? All the animals already left and we're playing around. So the confusion is that people think being a Moor is about getting some card or paper or something, instead of being a Moor being about learning about what it is. And they expect people to look at this from the perspective of it's either religious, so it turns them away from it, or that it's either you bought a package, which eventually is going to turn them away from it because the package never works. And what we've come to the conclusion of is that this is about you learning. Right? You know? Nah, the boat has left the dock. We're already unified. People can thinking that there's no unity amongst the Moors. Here we say we know Moors in Germany. We know Moors who are on the other side of the river. We know Moors who are on the other side. And it's unity with them. So why can't there be unity with all these other people? Because they have their own agendas. They're not working for the greater good of the all. They're working for individuals. But when the judgment comes, you better not be around them because you're on your own. Crazy what they're complaining about. Crazy. You know, we already know what's up. Like we said, and the more said the avatar of the YouTube, no, the avatar of the body. This is lower self. On the higher realms right now, those who are against God that have to go against the righteous All of them are laid out right now. All of them, there are arms everywhere, legs everywhere, because it was a slaughter. It was a slaughter. Birthright wins every time. And Noble Drew Ali gets put back on the pedestal, so you stop chasing after these whoever's. Right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what 7-11's talking about, because you're 7th, which is Moorish, and then L in the Evan, then you're Moorish all over the place. You're just a hater. You're just a troll. You're just a troll. That's all. You have all this L and 7-11s. You double 7 and all this, and you're playing around. Like you don't know who the Moors are? Please. Stop trolling. Go get a job. You know, that's what they want. They want to have their little mic, and they want to have their little racer chair car for their freaking video games. That's what they want. Not about uplifting people. About raping the people. And then, because there's no remedy, because the people have been so duped. People are they've been duped into incompetence. They duped into incompetence to the point where they don't even want their birthright, and it's theirs. It's theirs, and they don't even want it. Then keep not wanting it. Keep listening to the trolls and all these people tell you BS about what being a Moor is and what being a Moor is not. Right. You keep missing out on the experience of being what it is and see where it gets you. Because like we say, and we've been saying, the boat has left the dock. So a lot of you people who are talking, you have to actually realize that you're in the water right now. You're not on the boat. You have more serious problems than trying to buy a package. Islam Moor, you have anything to add in before we close up?
Yeah, don't let the keep studying. Once studying is the embodiment of truth. So if you just keep studying, you know the truth. Just listening to people's opinions all day means nothing. Because everything they write, I always say it, it's just someone's opinion. That's all they write is opinions. It took me a while to start noticing, and I'm like, hey man, it's just right opinion. Like I did the whole thing with them in the previous chat for Grand Sheik's channel, and it just left me alone because they came to the fact that this dude is not budging away from the opinions. Like I just keep like you just keep saying opinions. It means nothing. Somebody said, all you people do is argue and all that. I'm like, that's just opinion.
That's crazy you said that. Somebody just said that in the chat. You talk unify, but this lesson is about crucified dirty, or not who duped us Moors, or the Jesuit Empire who continue to throw rocks and hide their hands.
See? Like we've been saying since the beginning of class 2, they're still playing blame the European game.
Yeah.
When everybody knows the so-called real Jews are the Moors. It was in history, it was the Moors fighting Moors. There still wasn't no modern Europeans that had nothing to do with it. Because, like, Asir, the Duke of Tears, teaches, like, in, what is it? The brother who wrote, the astrology thing. I mean, the astrological constitution.
Mm. The what say again?
What's the brother that wrote the astrological constitution? No, the AAA 2.
CMB.
CMB. They both teach that the modern European didn't come into power till after 1850. So all of this fighting, even back then, wasn't even these Europeans. It was Moors fighting Moorish. And it has nothing to do with, oh, you people fighting. You know, it's because it just, for some reason, out of all the nations on the earth, when it comes to Moors, they say, oh, all you people do is argue, when Chinese people fight Chinese people all the time. Nobody's saying, oh, all y'all people do is argue. It's like they go through that so-called Filipinos or Moros, they fighting each other all the time because their so-called government is selling out. They fight each other all the time, but nobody's like, oh, all you people do is they only do that, play that illusional game when it comes to us for some reason. No other nations on the earth get this illusion statement. It's just something somebody in a fraudulent position trying to use misrepresentation, slander, is just going to keep saying. Because it's their opinion. It's just their opinion. And they're going to keep, but they don't do this to nobody else. That's how they know they got something against the Moors. They just got something against the Moors.
Yeah.
This person's in the correct position and he's correcting the person in the wrong position. It's not, oh, you people be fighting these. No, that's fraud. That's an illusion. That's Francois Lumiere, President Blumenblock, and they made up all of that. No, this guy's a rapist, and we're calling out the rapist. I don't care if he's purple, whatever. He's raping people. I don't care what it is. It's raping. But for some reason, when it comes to us and we want to call out the people who's doing the raping, it's, oh, all y'all do is fight. Where's the unity? When we've been saying for years, the definition of unity has to do with nationality. It has nothing to do with kumbayaing with people. That's another illusion that they made up. That's fraud. But again, because people like to use connotative words to fit their agenda, then they can use their opinion. That's why I said in the beginning, just keep studying. Just study. And you know, like, oh, this person just has an agenda right now. Like, either he's siding with them knowingly or unknowingly. Because you study, you know what those words mean. Like, that's not real.
Mm-hmm.
We're calling out the rapist.
Yeah.
Everything else is fraud. Everything else, oh, they're arguing with. No. We're calling out the rapist. And if anybody who's questioning us for calling out the rapist, everybody should start questioning that person as well, too.
Straight up. Everybody.
The Moors, that's an illusion. Because nobody says that for when Chinese people be fighting Chinese people. Nobody's saying that, oh, all these people do. These people out there rioting, so-called rioting, marching and picketing and all of that in over there in Asia right now.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying, oh, all these people do is fight and against. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. But they say that stuff here. I mean, they say that when Moors trying to correct, like, what is that?
Yeah, or
that's somebody's agenda.
Yeah, or when the Moors start talking about Islam, now all of a sudden here come all the imams. They wanna talk to the Moors. Like, we don't need to talk to you. We don't need to have any discussion with you
Islam.
about what we are and what we're doing and all that, because we're our own entity. No, especially if we're unified saying it. Islam, go ahead, brother Razim.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to close something on about. I think it's in the chapter 43 and Holy Instructions from the Prophet. The efficiency of knowledge. On line 7, it says, "Sayest thou that justice cannot be executed without wrong? Surely thine own words condemn thee." And it also says in 8 and 9, it says, "Thou who flattereth with false hopes the criminal, that he may confess his guilt, art not thou unto him a criminal, or art thou guiltless, because he cannot punish it?" Number 9 says, "When thou commanded to the torture him whom is but suspected, thou to remember thou mayest."
Yeah, they're messing with you. They're messing with you again. They're messing with you.
They mess. God, hello? How about now?
Yeah.
A little better?
Yeah, kind of. Yo, yeah.
Okay. And it says on 10, it says, "Is thy purpose answered by the event? Is thy soul satisfied by his confession? Pain will enforce him to say what is not, as easy as what is, and anguish hath caused innocence to accuse herself." Then finally 11, it says, "That thou mayest not kill him without cause, thou dost worse than kill him, that thou mayest prove if he be guilty, thou destroyeth him innocent." So, with all being said, that pretty much lays out everything we talk about today, where the guilty always proves that they're guilty by their own words.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to do anything. The guilty always prove who they are or confess who they are by their own words.
Yeah.
We don't have to do a damn thing. We just watch them fall on their own sword.
Yeah, but see, but that's not what's been happening though. Other people have been falling on their sword. And then they just take other people's sword.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You know what I mean? Which is where the thing comes up of having to put it out there, blow the trumpet for those who hear.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Whoever hears, they're gonna do what they're supposed to do. Whoever doesn't hear, then hey, you know what I mean? They should have been listening. You know. Yeah, Moors. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Oh yeah. Let's close out with this one right here. Close out with this one. Women who run with the wolves. Myths and stories of the wild woman archetype. Clarissa Pinkola Estes. Pinkola Estes. This page 416, the scapegoat. Sometimes in my work with women, I show them how to make a full-length scapegoat from cloth or some other material. A scapegoat is a coat that details in painting, writing, and with all manner of things pinned and stitched to it, all the name-calling a woman has endured in her life. all the insults, all the slurs, all the traumas, all the wounds, all the scars. It is her statement of her experience of being scapegoated. Sometimes it takes only a day or two to make such a quote. Other times it takes months. It is exceedingly helpful in detailing all the hurts and slams and slashes of a woman's life. At first, I made a scapegoat for myself. It soon became so heavy, it needed a chorus of muses to carry the train. I had in mind that I would make the scapegoat, and then, having put all this psychic refuse together in one psychic object, I would disperse some of the old woundedness by burning the scapegoat. But you know, I kept the coat, hung it from the ceiling in a hallway, and every time I walked near it, instead of feeling bad, I felt good. I found myself admiring the ovarios of the woman who could wear such a coat and still be walking foursquare, singing, creating, and wagging her tail. I found this also to be true of the women I work with. They never want to destroy their scapegoats once they have made them. They want to keep them forever. The nastier and the gorier, the better. Sometimes we also call them battle coats, for they are proof of the endurance, the failures, and the victories of individual women and their kinswomen. It is also a good idea for women to count their ages, not by years, but by battle scars. How old are you? People sometimes ask me. I am 17 battle scars old, I say. Usually people don't flinch and rather happily begin to count up their own battle scar ages accordingly. As the Lakota painted glyphs on animal hides to record the events of winter, and the Nahutal, the Maya, and the Egyptians had their codices recording the great events of the tribe, the wars, the triumphs. Women have their scapegoats, their battle coats. I wonder what our granddaughters and grand-granddaughters will think of our lives recorded thusly. I hope it will all have to be explained to them. Let there be no mistake about it, for you have earned it by the hard choices in your life. If you are asked your nationality, ethnic origin, or bloodline, smile enigmatically, say Scar Clan. Honors to all the mothers. Honors to all the mothers. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. And stay true to the cause. You already know, Moors. Islam to all the faithful, all the studious, all the active Moors, all over, all over. Honors to you. Peace and love to all the Moors. Islam.